What is up, everybody? Thursday night, and had a little bit of technical issues there, so off to a little bit of a start.
Technical difficulties.
Trying to get some of this stuff to work, and somewhere causing an issue that I got to check on after the show at some point or this weekend. But great to be back here at another Thursday evening. Happy Thursday to everybody out there. Hopefully, you guys are all ready to get rolled into the weekend, which is coming here soon because it is that time.
You didn't know?
Yeah, it is.
Your ass better call somebody.
We about to rip it up, have a few drinks, get you all set, ready to rock and roll. I haven't used that in a long time, actually. That's been one of my favorite ones back in the 90s. New Age Outlaws.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
What you didn't know?
Generation X. Yeah, back in the day. Cheers to Craig in the house. Kent Beer Reviews. And Adam. Craig? Cheers, Mercy. I bet cheers, Craig. So we got the UK contingent in the house. So welcome. Yeah, so getting started, I was having some issues here, and Todd was like, "Are you okay over there? Like, what's going on?" I don't know. Nothing wants to work right now. I'm dealing with some stuff. So
you're having the issues I always have. Usually.
Yeah, it's like one light came on, one light went off. It's like, why is it not working? Things aren't interconnecting right. I'm trying to get the balance. So now we're in good shape, and I'm ready to crack open a beer. That's what I'm going to do right now because it's been a long work day, and I've been ready to drink one for a while. And then we had to wait for our DoorDash guy to bring us food. So it's like he came, then he couldn't find it. Somebody got lost. But he had somebody else's order in the same building.
Oh, shit.
Came in, and I was sitting there reading my phone order. Just came and dropped off the other one. So I texted White, like, what's going on? And he's like, I came in. I didn't see him. He came back. He's like, were you just sitting there? I was like, yeah. He's like, I think I just came in with the other one. And I'm like, did you? Like, I wasn't. He came in with a bag that I knew wasn't our stuff. And the security guard was like, yeah, you were just here. But it's just like, and he's like, oh, yeah, I got confused on it like that. And he said, and then the one part of the system wiped out the other when he came. But DoorDash people struggle, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the food was still hot and everything. So it was still pretty much good. We ordered from one of the local Chinese spots, which is weird. They got a Chinese spot that does American dishes as well. Huh. So I get like a cheesesteak egg roll. Tell me where you've seen that before.
No kidding.
Yeah, cheesesteak egg roll. You can get a cheesesteak sub. And it's just like, who's running this restaurant? I've not been to the restaurant personally, but I'm like, I've never seen a Chinese restaurant come out with some of the dishes they're coming out with. But the food's all good. It's got like a 4.8 out of 5.
There we go.
People love it, but it's just like, I guess that's just the Baltimore flavor. You can get a hamburger, you get a cheeseburger sub, which is like a long piece of cheeseburger meat they put on a sub.
They used to DoorDash food at my work when I first started there during COVID because they didn't want people going out. So they'd have food brought in. And I would swear every single day they were forgetting somebody's food. There was like, okay, who's making a joke about it? Like, all right, whose day is it today to not get fed? And everybody's like, here, you can have some of this. You can have some of mine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's all right.
It's actually funny. I had more issues here than when we were in Kentucky. It was like they never really messed up anything. Here it's almost like a city of order and Popeyes. Like you think you're going to get what you want, but you just don't know. It's like part of the game. We'll see if you get what you wanted there.
It's like 9 times out of 10 because I work with my brother. We work at the same place, and it was always my brother was always there messing up. Or if you go to like Jimmy John's or some sub shop or something, they're forgetting the potato, the bag of chips or whatever, and
right
or whatever. They was always forgetting something.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah. So I got that finally, scarfed that down. Then got on here and was messing around with get the stuff together. But nonetheless, we are set. We are ready to rock and roll and have a good time here and go over some of the stuff as I'm still tooling around with a few of the things here. But shout out to CB in the house. Cheers, my friend. Good to see you. And me and CB have been talking a little bit, messaging with the whole, because he's in West Virginia, so the whole Huggins thing, which is,
oh yeah,
that's just it's kind of like you think you learn by now, but yeah, I guess people just go in there and being in Cincinnati, and you know this from being in Louisville, yeah, the Bearcats and Musketeers rivalry, it can get pretty heated and get pretty ugly and kind of stuff. But it's just like, dude, you're like on a podcast talking. It's just like, or anytime you're out there representing a university, it's just
You're
like,
right.
yeah,
They forget for some whatever reason. They forget about that, and they just say stupid stuff sometimes. Like, what are you doing?
I feel like they got rid of Bob Knight for less than what he actually did there now. I look at Bob Knight. Like, if he choked a kid, you can at least say, well, who hasn't played sports and probably been grabbed by a coach at some point, right? Like, screwing up something. That made more sense than what Hug is on there talking about. So
if that would have happened in the daytime, I'd be like, suck it up, kid. What are you doing? You ain't getting nothing out of us.
He's like, just don't mess up then. You won't get choked, But yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty simple. Let's see. Cheers. And New Age Outlaws. I hear he's an ass man. He loves to kick on. Oh, yeah. So I'm actually cracking open one for your neck of the woods. I almost started to crack it open. Another one of the Champagne Velvets.
Oh, nice.
From Upland Brewing there in Indiana. It's a nice Pilsner to actually kick back and enjoy.
They have at their brewery here, of course, they're out of Bloomington. They also opened up a brewery here locally about 2 years ago. I guess it's been now probably.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think they have, which it used to be a Buckheads, so they took over how big Buckheads is.
Right.
So the whole Buckheads is now a brewery, is Upland. But anyway, they have every day one of their main beers, like the Champagne Velvet, they have on tap, and it's like $3 or $4, whatever day it is.
So was this the Buckhead that you used to go to that closed down? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was right on the river, so it's like a great setting. It's awesome there. But anyway, Champagne Velvet, I think it's maybe I can't remember if it's their Thursday or Friday beer of the day or whatever. So you can go in there and drink them all day long for like $3 or maybe $4 a beer.
Shoot, that's not bad.
Yeah, and so every day is like a different one of their like main, one of their main beers that they brew. Yeah,
and back somewhere in my glass collection that's still boxed up because eventually we'll move into something, I'm assuming. I do have one of the Champagne Velvet glasses, which is nice too.
Yeah, which I do like that one. That's a solid beer.
Yeah. Cheers, Sam. We got Sam from Down Under. Yeah. Happy Saturday. God, I'm pushing to the weekend. Happy Friday to you, my friend.
No, I wish this was Friday night. I wouldn't push it too far past.
Yeah. They don't put the year in the Sunday. You're like, no, slow down.
Yeah, right. I feel like it comes and goes so fast as it is anyway.
Yeah. Of course, Sunday we have Mother's Day. Sunday we have Mother's Day, so make sure the women out there happy Mother's Day. Tell Shannon happy Mother's Day since I guess she's not joining us tonight.
Will do. Now she had to work tonight, so
yeah.
I asked her. She got off in plenty of time tonight to work or to join us if she wanted, but she's like, nah, I'm getting on tonight.
Yeah, we might have a blurb from her somewhere. Maybe she come walking through the kitchen or something, and she'll.
Right, yeah, at some point she'll. Yeah.
And Mal was supposed to be back tonight. I don't know if something happened. I didn't actually check the messenger thing.
I was wondering if she was joining tonight or not.
I mean, they may have called her back in, but she hasn't sent anything on there yet, so I don't know.
So I picked this one up today.
Which one did you grab there for today?
This is Taxman Brewing Company, which is out of
that's solid.
Hagerville, Indiana, which is about 20 miles southwest of Indy, I guess, if anybody cares to know. But this is the Cafe Mocha Gold Standard, and their Gold Standard is their Belgian style blonde ale.
Ooh, very nice.
Not familiar with Taxman, which I know you are. They're a Belgian style based brewery. Pretty much here's your Belgian style. So I've had their regular Gold Standard, and they've done some variants of it. And this one I have not had. This is, like I said, the Cafe Mocha Gold Standard Belgian style blonde ale with coffee, cocoa, and vanilla.
Oh, yeah. Always dig the artwork there.
And this one comes in at 6.2%. And it says featuring Tinker Coffee Company, which I'm not familiar with. So I assume that's their, where they got the
one of the local flavors.
Yeah. So I've never heard of them, so I'm not really sure. But anyway, The gold
Yeah.
standard is pretty solid. It's a good, like, just some basic, style golden Belgian style golden ale.
Yeah. Yeah, that tax man will always welcome to come by the house. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
No other tax man, but that tax man is always welcome.
yeah, I was hoping you guys would get down there before you move. But if you're ever back this way again, we'll have to go up there because I know
Yeah.
you'll definitely dig because I know you like the Belgian styles. My
Hmm.
brother's a big Shannon's brother. He's a big Belgian style fan also, and he loves the brewery up there.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
So it pours in a nice little
Nice copper color.
copper color, a little bit of a head. Definitely get the coffee right off the top for sure.
Yeah.
More so than anything.
You made the kiss out of just like cacao.
A little bit, but not much of that off the nose.
So many beers have cacao in them now.
You're right.
Big Daddy's in the house. He's got a chocolate peanut butter pretzel moohoo from Terrapin. I've had that before.
Oh.
That's actually, it does taste like a yoo-hoo when you're drinking that. And that can sneak up onto you with the booziness not really coming through. That's actually a pretty pleasant one, though. Now, actually, I say I had the chocolate. I haven't had the peanut butter version, but I've had the chocolate version.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I've had the peanut butter pretzel.
Yeah.
For sure. I didn't
You know, the
realize-
one pretzel beer I haven't had, and people seem to always like it, is that Leinenkugel's Twisted Pretzel or whatever.
I've heard people like that one too.
Yeah, apparently when that comes out, I think that comes out usually around November or December. A lot of people seem to really enjoy that one. So maybe
lot of
give it a
people
go
like-
at some point.
A lot of people like the Kugel line in general, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the Shandy stuff, I like their Canoe Paddler and their
Yeah.
Big Ike and a few of the other stuff they do. So
Which I bought her a 6-pack of the peach. What they call it? It was peach something.
was it the Peach Sandy though? Like
No, I don't. It wasn't a shandy. I don't believe it was.
maybe a wheat ale?
What the heck was it? Now I have to look it up. It's some peach. It was peach something, but man, it was good though. It was when you could definitely, if you were cutting grass or outside doing something
Yeah.
out in the yard or something. That was nice. It was a good refreshing beer.
Somebody should do a peach schnapps beer. Back in the 90s, peach schnapps was pretty popular. I don't know if people drink it now, but back in the 90s, a lot of drinks were done with peach schnapps.
My mom used to make some kind of peach schnapps frozen drink at Christmas time all the time, and it had different types of alcohol in it. It was pretty good because like a slushy, so you just scoop it out and put it in your glass, and I think you'd pour like ginger ale or 7-Up or Sprite or something on it. It was pretty good.
It was easy to mix into things for sure. Okay, all right, brother Sam. Mercy, we got cheeseburger spring rolls here. And you get those at the Chinese restaurant too? So this is the first restaurant I've ever seen that was a Chinese restaurant where they did cheesesteak rolls. But I guess if they're spring rolls, it'd have to be like on the Chinese restaurant or Asian restaurant. I don't know if they do them at the Korean restaurants. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. It's just the Chinese have the lock on the rolls. You can get it because I think about it. I think when I go to a Japanese restaurant, I don't know if they've ever got an egg roll at a Japanese restaurant. I'll get dumplings, but I don't think I've ever got an egg roll. So maybe that's locked down by China. I don't know. Might be trademark infringement.
I think of is you've been here 4 hours. You must go now.
Yeah, as you go now. Yeah.
Trying to look it up, but hell, I can't even. I don't know how you spell Leinenkugel's anyway.
Alex, the beer master in the house. Cheers, my
What's up,
friend. ABM represent. CP to Alex. Cheers. Got Emerson in the house. Cheers, my friend. Got the Rajay mug with a tropical bear hug. 9.9. Yeah, I did the bear hug video when I was down in Florida. When I went down to Florida beginning of April. Seems like it was so much longer ago, but it was like beginning of the month, about a month ago. That's actually not a bad one for Goose Island to kick back and enjoy. couple more of these practice my nunchuck skills while I watch. Is it just me, or when you watch a Bruce Lee film, you feel like you could do some nunchucks action? Like, I remember young.
You totally could. It'd be like,
I was like a
flying through the air from
young kid, a teenager. Like, I loved watching like the Bruce Lee flicks and stuff, but like when someone would break out nunchucks, you just be like, "Oh, you done messed up now," because you know what Bruce got him, it was done. He was just the nunchuck master, you know.
You're right.
He always made it look so easy.
I remember my dad used to always watch the Bruce Lee stuff all the time, and he always liked the. Did you ever see any of the old Billy Jack movies?
Oh yeah.
I love watching those too. That dude was a badass, also.
Yeah.
Always wore the big. I don't know what you call the hat.
Black hat. Yeah.
Yeah, that old black. It was a big old tall round brim or whatever. Like.
Oh yeah. Counting down the work hours to smash about 365 beers in a weekend. Oh, full year's load, huh? Sam's like, give them all to me right now. Well, up there, CV from Alex. You got Jimmy in the house, cuffing stuff. Cheers, my friend. Happy Thursday night to you as well. What you got grilled over there for the weekend? I bet you're making some nice stuff for Mother's Day there, Jimmy.
Did some burgers on the.
Man will have you salivating for sure as he's grilling some stuff up.
Made some of smashed burgers tonight for dinner when I got home.
Oh, did you?
Put them on that. I got not a Blackstone, but a griddle outside. It's a Camp Chef. And so I did some smashed burgers. Yeah, they were pretty good.
Oh, very nice.
I like those because you can cook them in about 2 seconds because they're so passed out on the top there. And it's like, okay.
Especially if you like them, rare to medium or something like that and everything. It'll take too long at all, really.
Yeah, those are hard to cook. Any kind of pinkness in them at all, unless you just barely throw them on and flip them and then take them right off. It don't take because you get the griddle screaming. So you put it on there and then let them cook just for a bit, and then you smash them in and let them get them all kind of charred a little bit, get a little flavoring up on them. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the one thing now, being here a year and a half later, is not having a grill. I kind of do miss some of that as I was starting to get into it previously. So
throw some bacon.
Time will tell if I get back to that, though.
Yeah, you will eventually. Maybe if you
find a house that we actually like or something. Yeah. Got Rod in the house. Cheers, Rod. What is up, homie?
What's up, Rod?
Chilling and drinking like we do every Thursday. And if y'all drinking out there, let me know what else you guys are drinking too. I know Emerson put his in there as well. Not tonight, actually, Alex. Just going to do the show here. That beer looks solid, Todd, Rod said. Taxman does everything solid.
Yeah, it's tasty. Like I don't know of anything that they make will blow you away type of brewery, but everything they make is pretty damn good.
White stouts freak me out, but I love them. White stouts were just kind of tricky when you first start drinking them, just because of the color, and you still get like that stout taste. It just kind of messes with you a little bit, but you can warm up to them. JT sipping into darkness. Just leaning back into it, huh, JT? Craig said, I'm heading out. Oh, shit. Really now, Craig? Now that I moved, you're going out there? Craig's heading out to Ohio next Thursday. He's pretty stoked.
Oh, really?
What part of Ohio are you going to?
What part?
Watch him say Cincinnati. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Hey, I'll be in next Saturday if you are in Cincinnati.
What do you got going on up there? Are you going to go do some visiting?
Going to the Reds game with my brother and my mom, and my brother's daughter. The
Nice.
Yankees are in town, so he's a big.
Who the Reds playing when you're up there?
The Yankees.
Oh, Yankee. I'm sorry. I missed that part there.
That's all right.
Sneeze.
Well, he was sneezing, so you probably didn't hear me. Yeah, he's a big Yankees fan. So him and my niece, they're big Yankee fans. My dad was a big Yankee fan, so
Yeah.
their secondary team, they like Cincinnati also. So my brother said, I'll probably wear a Yankees hat and a red shirt and have them both on.
You guys will get a pretty good crowd for that too. I mean, 'cause they get the Yankees fans that come in.
Oh
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they went to New York last year and went to 2 games while they were there. So the 3 of them did.
Yeah.
So we went. I guess this is only the second time New York's come to Cincinnati since they've done the interleague thing. And we went the first time they played them. And my dad was still before my dad passed away. We actually got to go. He actually got to go watch them, which is the first time, I believe, the first time he actually has ever seen them in person. So,
But they've been there before, though, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm thinking, yeah.
Well, I don't know that they've been since then, though. They could, if they have. I didn't go, but
I'm just thinking when I lived there, I thought if there was a couple years they might have come in, unless I'm wrong. But
so this would have been pre. Well, he passed away in 2013, so it had to have been a year or so before that, maybe, or
yeah,
year before then. So I don't know how often they do. Which would have been. I think they only go in cycles, so I think like they'll play each division every year, and then they start over, and then they go to that place. So I think Cincinnati went to New York, so it probably has been that long since New York's actually been here. I'll have to ask my brother because I'm sure he would have gone and I'm sure I would have gone too. So I think it's only their second time here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I might go watch them when they come back. Now that I can actually see them here. I tell you, I think I mentioned it last week. It's kind of weird now being in a team where you have a contending baseball team.
Yeah,
come from Cincinnati. Like the Orioles are like really playing good ball, and the Yankees come down, and you get a good turnout and stuff. And I just found out yesterday there's a part of the park, right? So I guess it might be down the left field line, I believe, but you can actually clear the stadium and bounce out onto the street. Like how you do in McCovey Cove out in San Francisco to go over.
Right.
And they actually, when they hit them out there, they mark where the ball lands, and they pretty much emboss it into the street. So, like the catcher, Andy Rushman, he's been one of the more phenomenal players to actually watch. It kind of got me into watching the Orioles. He went out yesterday like 434 feet or whatever like that and everything. So they kind of crayon where it's at, and then they'll go ahead and emboss it there. But Santander had a couple spots, and it was just like, that's actually pretty cool. So when you go over there, you'll see where they hit on the street and everything.
So do they put the person's name and the year?
The name, and they end up putting a baseball emblem there with the name, the date, the game.
Okay.
That actually happened. Cool. And it's for visiting players too. So there's visiting ones they'll have there as well.
If anybody, you
clear the wall, and it's like Utah Street is what it is, and you land there. But when the Yankees were just here, one of the players I would want to see for the Yankees is watch Judge play. But he belted one out when he was here last time too. I think he had like 1 or 2 home runs when they played last series. But that dude's a beast.
If he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
The name of that beer, which I finally found, is called Juicy Peach, Kugels.
Oh, okay. See, what's it?
It says it's a.
What style is it?
It just says flavor, Kugel. But I thought
I bet it's probably a wheat ale or something.
Well, I thought
wheat are the easiest one for flavor.
I thought they listed it as a fruited sour. Yeah, it says a sour, fruited sour, but it isn't very sour that I remember. But the flavor is definitely peach for sure. It's a good like summer beer. People think
so you liked it as well then?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty tasty.
Yeah. JT's drinking a Science Shoe Weather by Funky Town Brew. I'm hearing good things about Funky Town, which is a Belgian pale ale. So nice.
I don't know that.
That's another one.
Yeah.
So Jimmy says it's going to be a low country boil weekend. Very nice for Mother's Day weekend. So, yeah, if y'all want to check out some good cooking and some grilling and some things you can do, check out Jimmy's channel. He's always got good stuff out there. I mean, he gets down. He teaches you how to do it. And food always comes out looking great. You put my right foot on the left side of your face, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it, Billy Jack. Billy Jack called his shots. Jamie in the house, cheers, Jamie. He said he's actually a Yankees fan as well. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, the history of the Yankees, you can see why they have the following they have and the years and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean,
I feel like all the teams, like old school, going back when they were good, like the Dodgers back in the day,
Yeah.
people are still Dodgers fans or Yankees fans. Of course, our generation, especially here, are big Cubs fans just because WGN back in the day when they all played all day games.
WGN,
You get home from school or whatever, and the Cubs game would be on. So I can see why a lot of people were Cubs fans. But
yeah.
I never went down that path.
But the Yankees, I mean, they had Billy Martin when we were young too, so it's kind of like he was the most spunky of managers. And stuff.
Oh yeah.
You're like, I think he got fired like 5-6 times as a manager for the Yankees.
Hiring. It was like, really?
But he go out there and kick dirt on that first base or whatever, and get ejected out. Yeah, he's an icon. What up, Dee in the house?
Oh, D.
And she said, speaking of Billy Jack, I watched all 3 John Wick movies this week. It's a good weekend, my friend. I'm looking forward to John Wick 4 came out, I believe. I just haven't gone to see it yet. I think it came out, unless I'm mistaken.
I believe it has.
So I'm kind of waiting to see if it rolls on HBO Max.
Let's see. John Wick 4. It's a pretty good rating.
John Wick, yes, pretty solid.
It didn't say. I don't know. Thought IMDb, the website, I thought it would tell you when it came out, which it might, but I don't see it.
I was thinking it did. Let me take a look here.
Probably just not looking enough into it.
It says 2023. So,
I thought they had the release date on there too, or at least a month anyway.
Actually, I think it did come out because I think that one came out before died. Yeah,
March
24th. Yeah, so it should be about to pop up on HBO Max or something probably. So.
I thought it showed it on there. I just didn't scroll down far enough.
Yeah.
So the budget was estimated $90 million opening weekend. Made $73.8 million. Yeah.
So almost got all back on the first weekend.
Gross is it says domestic gross is $180 million, and then worldwide was $406 million.
Yeah. Yeah, the John Wick movies they're tight. I enjoy watching them. Speaking of sequels, so I finally had some time. I played some time last weekend, so I watched Fast 9 because I'm like, I need to get it out. It's so funny. I went to go watch it because I knew Fast 10 is just about to come out or came out already, and it's like I better go watch 9. And I went to where I DVR. The DVR I had it on there so long, the DVR wiped it off, and I'm like, shit. Now so then I was like, well, maybe it's on HBO Max still, and I went on it. It was, but. It was it's a fast movie, so it had the popcorn appeal to it kind of things, but I would say John Cena did better than I thought he was going to probably do. But it was interesting, and then I can't want to spoil for people. I mean, I know people watch the fast movies now and stuff, but
I haven't watched the last 3, maybe 4, so I need to go back and catch up on them because I always liked them too, and I don't know why I just stopped watching them.
Yeah, so they brought back one of the characters. People that watched Fast will know what I'm talking about, but that was kind of interesting. They kind of told a story about that and Kurt Russell and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, Charlize Theron's in it still, which is still pretty good. We'll allow it. But no, it was interesting because they gave some more backdrop to some of the characters and how a couple of them met and stuff like that and growing up, and it was kind of cool. And then setting it up for Fast 10 that just came out, it's going to be kind of interesting as well. So I don't know. I think 11 is going to be the last one they're saying now, and the guy that's directing is like a pretty big director. They're saying so.
How many of those have John Cena been in?
This was the first for Cena.
Oh, was the first one? Okay.
Yeah. But the way it kind of, I won't say what happens in it, but the way it kind of plays out, it's kind of interesting.
I was going to say, it's kind of funny how those wrestlers, but I guess really what they're doing is acting anyway in the ring. So it makes sense that they're actually, when they get into movies, they're usually not half bad. Like they're usually pretty decent. Like that Batista dude, he's been in several movies, and he's actually pretty good when he's in the movies he's in.
I think if they make a Gears of War movie and they don't cast Batista in the lead character, he may hurt somebody because he really wants that part, and he would be perfect for it for the Gears of War movie too. I mean, he's done everything online, campaigning for it, dressing up for it, all kind of stuff. So he really wants that role, but he's actually one that's come out to be a pretty decent actor.
Yeah, so he's been in a few things I've seen now, and I'm like,
well, he's out now again with Guardians of the Galaxy because he's one of them, and he's funny in the role that he has as part of that team too. Yeah.
Has the third one of that one come out yet?
Last Friday it came out. Yeah,
I knew it was getting close if it hadn't already. Okay.
And that's got pretty good reviews and stuff on it as well. Those are pretty entertaining. I am still intrigued to see the Flash movie, though. I mean, I'm not huge into DC usually, but the Flash one has enough to make it intriguing for me that I might have to actually see what that one's all about there.
That's what you were saying last week.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. Craig is going to Cleveland, North Olmsted. So you'll be actually up in Lep's territory and Joey's territory. If you ever connect with those guys, I'm sure they would love to meet you.
Probably. How far is that from Pennsylvania? Is that very far from
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Shooting down the highway, probably about like 3 hours, 2 hours, something like that. It's not too far. Because you're kind of, I think, if I'm thinking right, you're kind of north central, some up there where Cleveland is, maybe.
Of course, I don't know where Paul lives in Pennsylvania. But I was like,
Paul's over in the east. He's like, Paul's about 2 hours from me. But Paul's driven to Ohio and stuff before and everything too. So
but it'd be a little trip to and do there for you too, even if that as far as that goes.
Let's see here. Bucky Dent, Catfish, Greg Nettles, Reggie Jackson, Willie Randolph, Mickey Rivers. Yeah. They had some stars and studs back then, so you do it in the house. Cheers, my friend. Who's your daddy? Welcome, buddy. Another Jersey native. Great to see you. You want to learn how to build something. Watch you do his channel. He's always building some kind of contraption or something like that, and he lays it down. Billy Jack kicked ass without shoes on. Straight up raw dog. Billy Jack was a bad man. Wick is like a video game hero who has invincible code. It's cartoonishly hilarious. It's over the top with everything with the John Wick stuff. It's just like, like he should have died so many times, right? But it's John Wick, it's just crazy. Right. But that's what I like about it too,
Yeah, they're definitely entertaining for sure.
Yeah. You do it saying hello to everyone, giving the big kudos. VC do it. Batista's Blade Runner 2049 was money. He also made a short movie on YouTube. See, I never saw Blade Runner 2049. I was going to watch it, and I started seeing like people that didn't like it and stuff. And then usually it doesn't really bother me to do that, but I just never got back into watching it.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
I just see they're making a Dune 2 that's coming out. So I was never a Dune fan anyway, and so I didn't watch the remake. But for those that like the remake, they got a sequel that's going to drop, I guess.
That's another one I never watched. Never cared to.
Yeah. I tried to watch it. It just was like, wasn't my thing. Wasn't my cup of tea. I watched that Tokyo Drift. I think they're making a Jason versus Fast and Furious one. Yeah. I've never watched Tokyo Drift. In fact, Tokyo Drift is like Rocky V. They're like, don't watch that. Like, that's just one that was out of place. They admit that should have never been made. So if you stopped at Tokyo Drifting, you missed a lot of the good action, and you took a bad one there for sure.
When was that? It was about what, fourth or fifth one? That might have been where I stopped too.
Yeah. Well, no. Tokyo Drift was number 2.
Oh, it was number 2.
That was the second one, yeah.
I watched a couple after that then.
Yeah. And the characters that happen in number 2, it's weird because it throws people off because like Hans is in the other Fast and Furious and people are like, when he died, it's like a whole time thing. So, yeah, it throws you off.
If I could just need to start over and just watch them all from the beginning.
have a binge weekend.
I don't know about binging those, but I don't know. How long are those? They're probably not.
Some of them,
They're probably none of them
Under
probably
2, like some of the early ones are like maybe under 2, but I think some might be like 2.5.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, depending. Oh, Emerson corrected me. He said Tokyo Drift is actually number 3. Come on, man. Is it? Okay, my bad. I didn't watch that one either. That's right, because because the first one and the second one was kind of like the whole thing between Vin Diesel and the guy that played Paul on that one, and then he went to Tokyo Drift. So yeah.
So if I watched, I think I might have watched one more after that one. Maybe, I don't know. That might have been the last one I seen. Hell, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
It was Homestead Great. Yeah, if you're up there, Craig, Great Lakes would be a great spot to hit if you get a chance. Rusty in the house. Cheers. Just made in for a few kickback with the cold PBR. Nothing wrong with the cold PBR. You know, as we talked about before, as far as the macro lines go, that's like one I would have over some of the other ones out there. Seems to always hit. Get in a frosted mug.
Yeah, he likes the PBRs for sure.
It works. It works. Aubrey's in the house.
So he used to always have the hams. Used to drink hams all the time.
Hey, don't knock the hams.
Started going over because he lived just around the corner from us in our old house. So that's the first time I ever had hams. Is like, okay, I'll go there. It's like, this is not bad. It's a good
For the amount that you get and for what you pay, hams is solid.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Back to your butt for sure.
That may be the best bargain beer out there. Oh, you're welcome, homie. Appreciate you. Yeah, great channel, great stuff. You can also follow. You do it there on Instagram as well. Some good stuff there too. But always entertained and always having a good time and always smiling and laughing. And that's what you want to do. You want to enjoy life as you go through it. Believe me, at this point, everybody's trying to find something to laugh about.
No doubt.
What is up, Aubrey? Happy Thursday to you, my friend. 2049 was very good. The Dune is the second half of 1, not a part 2. Oh, I just saw Dune 2 is what I saw. A long-ass movie. Just as boring as the first. Visually stunning, but boring. Yeah. That's not my thing to watch Dune. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's just some of that stuff, just like some of the Star Wars movies, I could never get into them. It was just like, it was there, and it was just like, it's not my cup of tea. I don't watch many new movies these days because of constant comic book mashups, and digital filmmaking leaves me cold. No love for the digital? No love for the digital? I need that warmth of celluloid. My top macros are PBR, hams, and old style. Yeah, shout out to old style in the house.
There you go.
That'll work.
My father-in-law loves him some old style.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still get old style in some spots, right? Like it's not all gone.
Yeah, we can get them here now.
Yeah, I saw it.
There for a while we couldn't get them. I think maybe Louisville had them, but you couldn't get them into that. Now we get them here.
Yeah, you try to get like a vintage old style sign, and it'll cost you a little bit. I mean, those things are worth some money. Yeah, I've seen like some of the estate stuff I look at, and it's just like, just to get that little sign, like, yeah, I mean, it's just part of history and stuff. I can see why American pickers do what they do because they'll find some stuff and the price is a lot higher when they sell it. Back in the 80s, I read the first 5 Dune novels before getting bored. Before. Old style. Pretty big in Chicago, yeah. I think it's pretty big. At least it used to be. I think like in Pennsylvania, I think as well. I remember seeing like old style stuff there before too. But from the old style to the new style, I need to crack open another beer.
Yeah, I went and grabbed one too.
What did you get?
I just looked up, so I knew it wasn't the right one, and I didn't think about it till I got it home. I should have looked at it a little closer, but I'm okay with it still. So I got the Bell's, which I thought was their IPA mix pack. So they have Bell's. Of course, they had the 2 hard. That's the main thing. But then they had three different ones, and when I got it home, and looked at it, it was this one, which was in the other one also that I thought I was getting. Which is
Change of heart.
IPA. Then they had their 2-hearted, and then they had Joe's favorite Oberon.
Yes, classic.
And they had the Roger in there, which I mean, I'm not hating the pack, but the pack I thought I was getting, which I
You
just
thought you were getting the IPA, the heart pack, yeah.
yeah, I thought it was getting the hearted IPA variety pack, and I didn't even look at it that close. I just saw I didn't even know that one existed, so I just assumed that's what it was.
Need to get some of the double two hearted at some point. Need that back out here.
Yeah. Until I got it home and I was like, where are all the IPAs? Why is this the only IPA or besides the actual two hearted? And I was like, where's the other ones at? And I was like,
Yeah.
dang, I didn't even realize. I was like, well, maybe I looked at the package wrong, but no. I didn't.
Maybe you thought you saw, but then somebody put the wrong thing in the wrong
I just
spot.
pulled it up, and that's the one I thought I was getting, but that's
The variety pack right there, yeah.
Of course, it does have the one I'm drinking now also, but so I got 2 of the 4, but I didn't get the other 2, so oh well.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the hazy hearted and I wanted that big hearted and see what those were like, But oh well, this is what it is. Can't be too mad. It's still beer, right?
Well, right. Yeah, that one that you got there, I haven't had before, so interested to see what you think of it.
Change of Heart Experimental IPA comes in at 6.8 ABV. And doesn't give me the hops or anything on it, so I don't really know what is experimental about it, but see what it has to offer.
Might have been one of the hops out of the lab, I guess.
I wonder if Untapped has it listed.
Going back, Emerson, OV splits, going back in the day. Which one do I want to crack open? Let's crack this one open here. Might be a little too chilled for it right now.
You know what I really was looking for was the Where's Waldo? And they were already out of those.
Yeah, I was going to check a couple spots, and I was like, if I don't get it this year, I'm not going to miss it, But
I
come across
I
it.
was in here. I was like, I'm going to ask them. And she's like, we only got a case of it this year. And as soon as we put it out, it was gone. I was like, okay, I figured as much, but I didn't. Thought while I was here, I would ask. But
yeah, that flies off the shelf as fast as some of the Bourbon County ones do nowadays.
Let's see.
Oh, I've got to put the little banner across the bottom. There you go.
Doesn't really say anything much about it on Untapped either. It just says cold IPA, fruit forward, and piney with a clean, dry finish. So there's that, I guess.
Got that going for you.
It's gotten Brad Allison, he gave it a 4 stars.
Oh, Brad did. Nice.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you know, or I've heard probably Joe talk. Jeff No Jinx. He gave
Jeff. Yeah.
He gave it a 4 also. So
I thought it was solid, at least.
yeah. Overall, it gets a 3.74. So I figured it wasn't going to be terrible either way, because there wasn't any of those in the pack that I was going to hate, but it wasn't. I hated being kind of disappointed getting home. I was thinking, where's all the other part of the reason I bought it? I wanted to try the 3 of the 4.
Well, you got Oberon, so you're never disappointed with Oberon.
Unless you're Joe.
Unless you're Joe. Joe or Paul. One of them.
Yeah, Paul's not. Yeah, that's right. Paul's
Yeah.
not.
I just wish we can get some of the more flavored Oberons. We got the mango one time, and might have been a pineapple, I think, but I want to get like the spicy one, like the pepper one they do. Heard that was really good.
Right. Yeah.
So while you're pouring that, I'm going to crack open the last of my Great Lakes. It was mentioned Blackout Stout. This was the one that they brought back last year, 2022, and I'm not going to do it. I've never done a revisit on any beers, really. I mean, I guess I've done stuff on different vintage years, but I'm not going to do a review on it. So I figured I'd go ahead and drink it tonight. Because it's still good. It's a class. Like, they didn't really change anything. It's still the same recipe and all that stuff, and it's just good.
Yeah, that's a solid one there for sure.
Like Goose Island, like Bourbon County Stout could be like the Popeyes of beer, because each year is different. You don't know what you think you're going to get something there, but it might not be. You just don't know because they keep changing it.
You're right.
You thought you ordered popcorn shrimp, but you got wings instead. That's the way it works out.
Something about it because you're gonna get that size for it.
You say, well, go tell them you wanted to wait. No, I'm good. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
I'll send you on your way with your tail between your legs.
Yeah. The only one that'll challenge a Popeyes order are those that work at freaking Waffle House because they know they can kick anybody's ass. They're not afraid of anything.
No doubt.
It's like you ever start seeing things go a little crazy at Waffle House and the waitress starts taking her earrings off, just back up and leave because it's about to get rambunctious up in there. You got to read the wall. You got to read the signs. You got to see what's happening.
Waffle House after hours. That's the best bang for your buck right there.
Yeah.
Or no.
You're supposed to see somebody go on the Waffle House bike and in this corner. We got the Bronx Bomber Betty weighing in at a stealthy 155. Oh, Blackout is such a good beer. I mean, right now, just that first initial sip and getting that chocolate hitting the mouth, a little bit of that back end with the coffee. Yeah, I was glad when they brought that back. Didi said he did like the mango Oberon. Thought it was very good when that came out as well.
Yeah, I did have that. What was the last? I guess I had a couple of them. I guess the mango was one of them, but I'm trying to think what the other one.
I want to say, I thought it was it was tropical. It wasn't pineapple. It was a tropical Oberon.
Yes,
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
No question. And no, I've not put a new trivia thing together yet. Those trivia things take a little bit of time for you to come up with some good questions for you guys. So we'll target that out for towards the end of May here at some point. I like putting them together. Just haven't had time to go and pull some different ones and make some new categories and stuff. So
you only got two weeks.
Oh, for the end of May? I guess we do. Yeah.
Well, yeah, for the end of the May show anyway, I think.
Yeah, the week after next week. And then it'll be Memorial Day that following Monday, which is crazy. Just flying through.
Our daughter, she's technically graduated already, but her actual graduation ceremony will be in June 4th, I think it is. So 3 weeks, I guess.
How's that make you feel? Like you a little happy, sad, like got any emotions at all?
Yeah, I was last year and a half on those things. This kind of hit me a little bit. From the time she started driving. I mean, part of me is like happy, glad, good, she's grown up and she can does her own thing. But there's the other half of me is like, wants to cry, like, that's not my little girl anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of struggled with it a little bit, for the last year and a half or so, just kind of ups and downs, ebbs and flows of it. But all in all, it's, she's a good kid. She, she's been working since she graduated in midterm and going to take some classes in the fall in college. So.
Well, the good thing is now, as people find out, with the way it's been for some people, they don't leave home; they come back anyway. So, not like we were kids. It was like, okay, gotta go.
She's staying local, so she'll be here for a while. So, which is fine. It's okay.
Yeah. No, that's good. So
starting to build her a little savings account now since she's went to work full time. Yeah, she's done pretty good on that too.
Get that early compounding.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy for her. She's doing good on those things.
She's about to start adulting pretty soon.
That she is. That's why I told her, like, don't wish too much before, because then as soon as it happens, you'll be wishing you back in school. I'm like, yeah, that's what I said too.
Yeah.
Tell me that, and all of a sudden you're like, God, I wish I was back in school again. Didn't have any.
Yeah. It's like that work week is real. That real work week is real deal. Like.
So she's kind of experiencing that now a little bit. So she does work. She's
Yeah.
at work now. So, but she's working at Dairy Queen. But
Yeah.
they made her manager. She's only been there for a little over a year. Now she's like a manager or something. And
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
so I was trying to get her. I was like, maybe go to UPS for a little while because they'll pay for your school. And she's like, well, Dairy Queen will too. So she's just gonna stay there. I was like, okay. I didn't
Pay
realize
for
that.
school and get free blizzards. I'm with
No
that.
Although it's funny how that works because dear old dad doesn't hardly get them very often. Even time I ask, she's like, well, I ain't got time to bring one home. I'm like,
bring a blizzard home for pops, you know.
she always closes all the time. She's like, I guess they turn the machines off. I'm not really sure what. I'm like, well, make one and put it in your all's freezer right there. I see you got the cake and stuff in there. Why can't you do that? You just bring it home for me.
At least grab me a dilly bar or something.
Yeah,
Show some love. Can I get a chipwich around here? Can Dad get a chipwich?
I'm like, all the money we give you and you can't bring me home.
Oh man.
Blizzard. I joke with her about it all the time. She's to the point where it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you ran that one in the ground. It's like, yeah, I guess I probably did. But
Yeah. It's so funny you get the blizzard. I remember I got one of those, and it's like they get it. Oh, well, here you go. And they turn it upside down before they give it to you to show like it doesn't fall. Do they still do that? The sheets?
Yeah.
Wasn't it something that they didn't do it? They had to give it to you for free or something.
Yes, yeah. Or your next one's free. I don't know if they give that one to you free or the next one they give you a coupon or something. I'm not sure. I have to ask her about that. But I know I know every time I go through the drive-through, not that I go there very often, but the last time I did and got a blizzard, they did do the side down thing. Usually, though, if she's working, and if I go to get an ice cream or something, I go in just to be there for a minute. And
it's like the Chick-fil-A my pleasure type thing or something. It's in the manual. You got to do it. So yeah,
you're right. Yeah. Oh, you didn't say it. I've never had one person never not say it anytime I've ever been through there.
Yeah. I almost feel like they're sending that much. It's almost a little cultist type feel. Like
it kind of is. It really is. I think the whole thing is kind of cultish. Close on Sundays, and
Yeah. I just think it's funny. Like they're sponsored the Falcons Stadium, and it's like, when did the Falcons play on Sunday?
That is funny. Yeah. We need some workers. Well, don't look at us. We don't work on Sundays, so
Well, geez, my kid is now an archaeologist and will be 30 next year. Congrats to her.
Nice.
Out there digging the rocks, being a little Indiana Jones. No time for love, Dr. Jones. No time for love. Oh man, not a blizzard in years. Yeah, last time I had a blizzard might have been about a couple years ago, probably. I think it was the Dairy Queen that was used to be my house in Kentucky. It was the last time I had one. So I don't think I've had one since we moved.
So we got a I think they call it a micro creamery or something like that down the street from our house, which we usually just go there, which Dairy Queen's like 2 miles from our house. So I went there the other night. I was like, oh, you know what I want, which is basically they have their blizzards. I think they call them something else. But so I went there and they were backed all the way around the corner out on the street onto the county highway there. And I was like, nope, I'm going to Dairy. Called Shannon. I was like, I'm not going there because it's going to take forever. I was like, I'm going to Dairy Queen.
They might have had the Chick-fil-A system. They might have been moving them right through.
It usually isn't bad, but I'm not sitting on the main drag of the road to wait to get into the drive-through for it. So
No, yeah. I don't wait in line for beer. I ain't waiting in line at a creamery.
Hey, exactly.
What's up, Vanessa? Cheers, my friend.
What's up, Vanessa?
Yeah, it's funny, Dairy Queen, because whenever I hear stuff, I can reference like one of my favorite shows, The Food That Built America. I don't know if you've seen that episode with Dairy Queen when the guy.
Last year's? Yeah.
It was last year or a couple years ago. Well, it was the son and dad team came up with the Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen it because I think she just started working in Dairy Queen when I watched it. And I was like, you need to watch this one.
this is history for your company.
You're right,
But
right.
it was just so funny how they did. And like the old man was the one that came up with, it, and the son was really against it. And it was like, he's like, yes, that's why it's called ice cream, because dad had that thing happen where it softened it, and the son wanted to be hard ice cream. He's like, no, I think we got something here. And they did a whole big 10-cent, all the thing all you can eat or whatever. They sold out like within hours and stuff. But at the time they did it, like in the 30s, it would take them like 4 hours to make a new batch or whatever. So once it did it, it was gone. And he's like, yeah, you should have seen it. They really loved it. He's like, yeah, you were giving away free ice cream. But who wouldn't have loved free? Like,
Yeah,
but
right.
then he stuck with it, and they're making it the same point. We had the guy from Carvel who was crafting his out of the Northeast and everything. So I love that show as far as seeing some
I tried. Yeah, it
ingenuity
was
of how they
Carvel.
come
I
up
was like,
with it.
who was the other ice cream? That's what I remember now. When he said it, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely saw that one.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And then they had the one also with like Good Humor. I don't know if you saw that or whatever, when the guy was going around and the Good Humor. And that came out with the same people, I guess, the person that created the popsicle. And then
I don't think I've seen that one.
the one guy created the popsicle by mistake because he left out like an ice cube tray like that overnight with stick in it, and he came out and it was frozen. And his kids really liked it. He came with the idea of going to do that and everything. But then Good Humor was like, came with the idea of putting the ice cream like frozen on the stick. And they had a big battle in between them on stuff too. So it's some interesting history that you get to see from that took place there.
I haven't seen a bunch of them yet this year. I did see the chicken wing one though. Did you watch that one?
Which one? Which chicken one was it?
It was the making of the buffalo chicken.
Oh, the chicken wing? No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was pretty good, and it showed where it started and where it all come from, and
yeah,
how he kind of got ran out of business because he was just a little old mom and pop guy that came up. Because back then, like the chicken wing was just part of the chicken that was discarded. They never even sold
they never really did anything with it. Yeah,
they came up with the idea is like, well, why, everybody's throwing all this out. It's like there's nothing wrong with the wing, so he started coming up with an idea. It's pretty good. So then, of course, the two main ones was Hooters and Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh yeah.
But before it got into them,
it was a little spot like in Buffalo that did it, right? Yeah.
But the actual people that made it popular wasn't this guy. They ripped it off of him, and they had the more money to make it bigger, and they were just outside of Buffalo. So
yeah.
But the actual concept, it was actually in Buffalo, but the people that made it famous wasn't in Buffalo, just outside of. But then, of course, Buffalo Wild Wings and Hooters took it and ran with it. And
well, that's the thing. It's like pizza, although it's like this obscure dish that you could find in Italy. The thing that blew up in America was Domino's and Pizza Hut. They were the first two, and it was like out of the Midwest. Like you would think it'd be out of New York or somewhere, and it was like no, it was actually Domino's, and which started out as Dominic's, and then Pizza Hut, like out of Kansas or whatever.
Right.
And they came up with and it just like came out that way and took off. So it's interesting, the stuff you get on there. The one thing I found the other day, I was watching one of the episodes, and I did not know this, because you think of all the commercials and everything you see for this place. Popeyes was created by a white guy.
Really?
I never knew that. Like watching it, and I was like, you would have thought it would have been a black guy or a black woman, because you just see that's how you always see the flavor, what you think of when you see it. But it was like interesting. And he had done it. He wanted kind of hold a little bit of a spicier type feel, and he had picked up the culture down in New Orleans on stuff. But it was kind of interesting ones. If you see the Popeyes one, it kind of throws you off a little bit there too. But it was pretty cool watching them, how they actually came up with it.
Yeah, because you wouldn't think culture-wise, like some of the sides and stuff that they serve and stuff, you wouldn't think it would be that would have been where it all started from.
Yeah, but when you see like the commercials and stuff like that and everything, it just never resonates in there. But yeah, it's kind of like when we found out Rick Astley was a white guy singing the song. Nobody expected Rick Astley to be this ginger singing that song. It just took us all by surprise.
Yeah. What?
It's like we weren't ready. Like Kevin Hart said, wasn't ready. But you get some great stories and great history there. Like I said, I like the ruthless element too, because it's like when it comes, you think about like corporate world and stuff like that. Yeah, it was like financial or things like that. Like companies will go after each other, but in the food business, a lot of them get cutthroat and stuff too. So
yeah. I liked the one when they had the Wendy's, Dave Thomas and
Oh yeah, they screwed the pooch for letting Dave get away from them. Yeah, they tried to screw
yeah,
him over, and he got a good payback. Yeah.
and how they came up with the concept of the drive-through or whatever. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And really, the whole thing starting with the whole burger type thing was really, what White Castle did. As far as being like the first fast food thing with the burger stuff. Most people think it's McDonald's, but McDonald's revolutionized how to do basically the I'm trying to think of the right word for it. What Henry Ford had done with the assembly line, they made the assembly system, the speedy system. McDonald's did that, but really came off of what White Castle had done when they started their place and stuff. So they used like stuff like Nathan's and hot dogs and how they did stuff there, and it's just interesting. Just these different things. Mrs. Enum, they did Ennemans, they did Mrs. Fields, which was kind of an interesting one too. That was pretty cool, and just a lot of these different things that happen. And it's kind of like some of these things happen per chance, just like, by mistake or something. And then they just got a break and they ran with it.
You guys have White Castles there?
I have not here in New Jersey. We do, but I have not seen any in Baltimore.
Okay. Because I know when you go south, it becomes the
Crystals kind of has the south held down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was funny. We went last year. She had a company picnic, and we were trying to locate up by one of the parks. I don't remember what part of town it is, but it's here in Maryland. And actually came across a Roy Rogers. And I was like, I have not seen a Roy Rogers. Because you can see him in Jersey and stuff like that and everything. And I was like, I should stop there. She's like, no, we're going to the picnic. You can eat there or whatever like that and everything. And ever since then, that still sticks in my head from last time. I should have went to the Roy Rogers. I want to go back to the Roy Rogers. Haven't had that for since I left New Jersey back in 18 or whatever. So.
I've noticed also it's kind of coming around again a little bit now is Bojangles.
Yeah, Bojangles has actually got some traction now too.
I remember as a kid that was kind of popular, and then it just kind of went away, and now it seems like they're coming back again, or more locations or whatever. Like there's a few on the way when we go down to Tennessee, but now it seems like it's starting to pop up, being a little more localized again.
Yeah, Dee said we had Carvel. Good Humor dudes in the white uniform, which the Good Humor thing, they talked about the white uniform and why that was all set up there as well. And Mr. Softy, remember that as a kid, Eddie Murphy skit, Mom put out some money, ice cream man's coming. Yeah. But all that stuff. Yeah, you see all that stuff kind of on there too. But Good Humor was the one that made the convenience of having ice cream treats out there and basically selling out of a truck type stuff. So, which I think some parts around the country, they still have it. I know that a couple years ago, we had one company that started doing that in our neighborhood in the subdivision we were in. They'll start coming around. You don't see it as much nowadays, probably the whole safety type thing, but some places still have them. Gilbert made it in the house. Cheers, Gilbert. Yes, Emerson, the Anchor Bar Buffalo. Long live the wings. That's where credited with where it started there. And a lot of Buffalo Bills fans will tell you that too. Oh, you're muted. You muted yourself.
No, I was hollering at the dogs. Wasn't sure what he's doing. Yeah, I guess it was Buffalo where they were from because now you said that name that sounded familiar.
Yeah. Rick was a redhead. Even more. That's what I'm saying. He was a ginger singing that song. Nobody saw him coming out. Like when they released the music video alone, that just changed the views on so many different things when people would see stuff. But it's like there was a video clip that someone had put out one time, and it was just like artists that sing songs that you thought were black but were actually white. And it was like he was like one of the people that would show singing, and then they had what's the one guy from the Doobie Brothers? George shoot, can't remember the name. I gotta look at my phone here. Yeah. What a fool believes, dude. Let's see here.
I'm drawing a blank on that one myself.
Oh shoot, what's the guy's name? JT's gonna probably get it before I do because he knows all the different stuff on the music.
So yeah, if you scroll through there,
George Michael. No, not George Michael. George.
Well, I was thinking George Michael until you said Doobie Brothers, and I was like, he wouldn't.
No, not George Michael. I was looking at something here, and I just forwarded that out there. George, somebody got in the comments. Dee might know. Michael McDonald, not George Michael. Michael McDonald. Yeah, Michael. Even Blake is like McDonald's. Yeah, Michael McDonald. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like he was like one of the guys, and then there was another guy. And it was just like, yeah, just, you never know when you heard the audio and stuff, but it just goes to show you any group can have good music, right? So it's, there's stuff, and just like you hear some things, like when you hear, some of the rock songs, black guys are really singing too, or country even nowadays. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now I got that song stuck in my head. Never gonna give you. It's just like that's one of those songs. If you hear it, it just gets stuck there. It's just like, how do you get it out of your head? You got to think of some other song that's just as bad, maybe, to get it out of there. Like "Walk That Dinosaur" or something, and then that erases "Never Gonna Give You Up." But then you're stuck with "Walk That Dinosaur."
So if you like stream like PKs or something, sometimes you might get a hold of like a bad stream, and it'll just be that video.
Yeah.
Even athlete. Like what? What? And it's just the video. It's just a video. Like, what kind of sick humor do you have, or what are you getting out of this? I don't understand.
I wonder what he thinks nowadays. Like all these years later, people still talk about him singing that song. Like
know,
he's got to love that. Like it's got to soak in there for him. You only need one hit that can set you up for life.
All you need. That's right.
Yeah, Al Copeland found Popeye on Sunday. The white dude from the Paris to do was character Noah had an annual Christmas light display that people flocked to for miles around. See, because JT grew up down outside New Orleans, so yeah, it was just like a big surprise. Like it's Cincinnati. Dave Parker owns a few of the Popeyes out there too. So sometimes people go down there and just try to see Dave Parker.
I do like their food though. They do have some good.
Oh, it's good. It's good foods, good spices and everything. I enjoy it.
Like
if you get what you ordered, just the only thing.
Yeah, right. I like the red beans and rice. Red beans and rice.
Yeah. Friend Jeffrey Rowe was executive chef for some reason. Oh, nice. If you get red beans and rice at Popeyes, they still use Jeffrey's recipe. I've gotten the red beans and rice there.
I like the red beans and rice. Yeah. So
Blake in the house. Cheers, homie. Happy Thursday night, my friend. White Castle 8200 Perry. Look, Dee Dee's done the research for me. I'll have to find Perry Hill Boulevard.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. What I'll say about White Castle, one, some of the better milkshakes I think I've had from a fast food place. White Castle's a top one there. Two, coffee is definitely one of the top coffee places to get coffee from a fast food place. Even though McDonald's has a McCafe now, White Castle coffee is pretty solid if you ever get a coffee there.
Do you get anything other than a White Castle burger from there? They're so dang on expensive.
Yeah. Well, what are the burgers now? Like 70 cents or something, maybe?
Probably, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hell, they might be $1 a piece now. I'm not really sure what they are, honestly.
But you get like a sack of them and stuff. And it's just like, yeah, like I told you before, first time I had White Castle as a kid, we were visiting some of my mom's friends down in New Jersey, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to run a White Castle. What do you guys want?" And they were like, "Oh, get some White Castle burgers or whatever." Like, how many you want? And people are like 6 and 5 and 7 and 8. I'm like, damn, y'all some hungry people around here.
Yeah, right. When you get them, you're like,
yeah. And it's like, oh no, they're small hamburgers and stuff. So yeah. But that steaming of them, it has a little tasting. You can crave them at certain points. So I will say that. So
especially late night drinking. Like,
late night drinking. Or anything else late night, yeah.
Well, yeah. Once you sets in or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. I do like Harold and Kumar. One of my first. It's so funny with Harold and Kumar. Now that I mentioned it because Kai Penn, who was in the Harold and Kumar movies, I don't know if he saw or not, but he now does Sesame Street stuff. So it's like, wait a minute. So it's just like
how you go from that? Yeah, it's like that's a
yeah. one of my first jobs at a high school was driving an ice cream truck. It was fun for a few weeks, but really hard and how it works 7 days a week, 12 hours. Yeah, probably. If it's like UPS, you probably didn't have air conditioning in the truck either.
No.
With the doors and stuff being all open. So especially down in New Orleans, woo, no summer heat. Yeah. Yeah. And then think about people that come to your truck and actually are surprised you're selling ice cream. they thought it was a front.
So, I don't know. Some of the ice cream trucks I've seen in the last few years are sort of suspect. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if a kid running up and getting ice cream from the truck or not.
It's like, yeah. That push up isn't really a push up.
Hey, you're right.
Do you remember what your favorite ice cream treat was back in the day? Like if it was Mr. Softy, like did you have a favorite or Good Humor?
I remember I always liked to get, which I don't know why, because I wouldn't get them now, but I always like getting the bomb pops.
Oh, the red, white,
Like
blue.
white or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I like getting those, but also like the. I also kind of like the little cup thing. Well, used to get them at baseball games all the time, like the little cups that had.
With the wooden spoon thing. Yeah.
They would have those on there too. I always liked those, but I guess maybe because that reminded me of going to the baseball games. But
yeah, because you get that with the little thing where you dig it out with ice cream, or you can get it like with the icy type thing too. I think, but yeah.
I always liked getting those too for sure. But I always liked the bomb pop for some reason. I don't know why. Because
that was pretty popular. That was a popular one. I would say if you put a chart up there, you said one of these things had to go, that probably would stick around. I don't think people would get rid of it because it definitely had that appeal to it. And
but I think they also had like a orange sherbet type ice cream bar with like vanilla ice cream in the middle of it, but the outside of it was the orange sherbet.
The orange creamsicle, my friend, is what you're thinking of.
Yes.
Yeah, that was always a go-to as well.
I always like that one too. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that's why when they come out with like the Mad Tree, they have the Dreamsicle beer. Everybody's like, I need to get that, like, you know, because it takes us back to when we were a kid type thing, that orange cream flavor. Yeah.
That one was a good one too. I always like those.
Yeah. I think depending on who it was that was actually out there, it was Mr. Softy. Like I would get like a vanilla cone with the rainbow jimmies on it, or depending on what part of your country you would say sprinkles, but in the Northeast they call them jimmies.
Call them
jimmies? Jimmies, yeah. They call them jimmies. Like you go to Dairy Queen or somewhere, that's what they call them. Yeah. Sprinkles. Yeah, they call them sprinkles in other spots. So yeah. And I would get that. That would be a big thing, like with Dairy Queen, or sorry, with Mr. Softy.
So I want a vanilla softy with jimmies.
Yeah, they was like rainbow or chocolate. They'd be like rainbow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually,
I don't make the rules, Todd. I just live by them. That's all.
Like Jimmy's, I'm like, what are you asking for here?
It's like AC/DC. When you're a kid, you don't know what the words really mean until you're later on. So yeah, but yeah, that's what they called them. I don't know how they came up with them calling them Jimmy's, but that's what they call them. And if you go up there somewhere now, you'll see on the signs it'll say Jimmy's instead of sprinkles at spots. So it's one of those area type things. So
yeah,
I don't. Maybe Jimmy's the guy that came up with them, and they kind of just call them Jimmy's. I don't know where he came from, but that was always a popular one. And then I think Mr. Softy actually started adding when they had like a chiplet sandwich, was I used to like to get as well. Just chocolate chip cookies with ice cream in the middle always sounds good, right? So that became like a favorite to enjoy. Good Humor, Creamsicle was always popular, like you said. If I get something like that and everything. I was never a huge Good Humor person. I know a lot of people like the strawberry shortcake bars, so I never really got into those.
Yeah.
Some like the fudge sickles. I was not really into that as much. So that would be like kind of more of a creamsicle type thing if they came around.
Yeah.
But the bomb pops, I've done the bomb pops too as a kid. So yeah.
Fudgesicles, they're okay. I like those. All right.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever get them off the ice cream track, but
you wouldn't?
I said I never really did.
Oh, okay.
But we used to buy them in the boxes at the grocery store just to have, because easy.
Yeah. Yeah, JT had gotten it there. Blood, sweat, and tears, right? I knew McDonald's speaks the way he. Yeah, I don't know if he does, but it's kind of like when you hear like Ozzy Osbourne actually speak, and it's just like, why wouldn't you just tell him to sing it to me? Because when he sings it to you,
Yeah, right.
you understand it perfectly fine. When he tries to talk, you're like, what are you saying, Ozzy? I can't understand.
Yeah.
It's like Rush Hour, words out
What
of
if he did
mouth.
just go around just singing everything? That'd be hilarious.
That'd be pretty cool. The only thing when he's talking that you understand is like Sharon.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Or you have people like Mel Tellis and people that were stutterers or whatever until they sang. Like, why wouldn't you just sing like forever? Like, it's your normal conversation. You just be
Right.
singing.
Ozzy be a walking opera. Yeah. Ozzy, sing it. I think Saturday Night Live might have done a skit or something like that before. Just sing it. Rickrolled, yeah.
There you go.
I'm never gonna give. Take it, Rajay, give me. Yeah, the song gets stuck in your head. I mean, it's catchy. It's a catchy tune. I mean, whoever wrote it and how they did it. I mean, it's all these years later and it's still out there. You know. I think if you put that on at a club and it's Gen Xers there, they're going to dance. They're going to dance because it's
Something contagious about it. You're just gonna.
At some point, some drunk chick's going to be like, "I love this song."
They're like, I do too.
Craig is back in the house. And the secret ingredient of those red beans is lard, about 50%. Well, lard brings people in for sure.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. It could have been lard instead of milkshake song. My lard brings people to the yard. That's right. It's better than yours.
It wouldn't have been wrong. She wouldn't have been wrong.
Oh. There was a video I watched earlier the other day. I think I put it on my Facebook page. I can't remember. It was one of the Gen X videos. I don't know. You're on my Facebook thing, so you may have saw it if I did. But it was talking about like how we grew up with some of the stuff. But one of the parts that made me laugh was the part about the merry-go-round at the park. Because you remember the merry-go-round, like we get on the merry-go-round, like basically usually like next to cement or on cement, and somebody was spinning the shit out of it. And they were like, if you don't go flying off this thing and break something, you're just not trying.
Yeah, you're not doing it right.
And they were talking about the sliding boards, like in the hot summer when we get stuck to them because it'd be so hot. Like,
going down and you just feel skin just tearing off the back of your legs. Like, what the?
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention it was 500 degrees because it's been baking in the sun all day long.
Right. Well, I remember we'd be a kid and we had a thing at one of the parks, and it was like this rocket ship type thing where you climb up like a ladder to get up to the top or whatever. And then you just take the sliding board down or whatever, or you can take the little pole down, like a fire pole or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were like, that doesn't look too far. We'll just jump down. And we would just be jumping down off. And it's just like, that's how Gen X thought back in the day.
We don't need no fireman's pole or a
let's see who could jump the farthest. So we just go up there, we jump, and it's just like, yeah. Nowadays we go out there and be like, that's kind of high.
Yeah, but like, damn, I used to jump from there.
Yeah. But that's how it was. Like I said, parents were like, go out, I don't care what you do, just be back before the lights are on. And we go out there and do all kinds of crazy stuff and test our livelihood if we could.
The good old days.
Be sitting there looking over the edge of stuff. You know what would be good right here? A rope swing.
Yeah.
So we test it first? Nope. We're going to go right at it.
Let's just try it out.
5 minutes later, you all right?
They grab somebody's little brother first, which was probably me but most of the time back in the day. Let him try it first. If he's all right, then we'll all go.
Something happens, you're like, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
Yeah, I was like, I'm supposed to watch him, but...
Oh, yeah. Those were the days back then. Kids today, they don't even know. They don't go out the house. Well, they get out the house to go to sports. They don't go out the house like we did and go into ventures. Like, back in the day, we were kids. Like, woods were our best friends out there. We make all kinds of shit in the woods.
Yeah.
You don't know how to make a fort? Hell, we were making a fort. 5 cents. I remember speaking of the 5 cents there, I remember too, as a kid, we go to the kind of the penny candy type stores or whatever too. They have like the Swedish Fish, and they'd have like the
Bazooka bubble gum and
bazooka
stuff.
bubble gums, and back then they had the fake cigarettes.
Fake cigarettes, yeah.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff there too. That was always a fun treat to go there, like coming home from school or something.
Remember those things we used to blow in those fake cigarettes, and it
And puff the white smoke
like
out.
that, yeah, like smoke coming out of them. But it was just the sugar or whatever, the dust off the sugar or whatever it was.
Yeah. Back when they could market to kids, right?
No kid, no doubt.
It's like we turned out okay. Yeah. White Castle is owned by a Nazi, but they offer white tables for Valentine's Day. I've never heard it was owned by a Nazi. That wasn't on the Food That Built America by any means.
But they do offer
They
tables
do,
Valentine's.
and they get couples that make reservations for Valentine's Day. So
this past Valentine's Day had our local White Castle. They were on the news all day long, all morning long. Before I go to work, I would watch one of the local channels, and they had a couple that was on there. They'd been married for like 60 years or something, and they went to White Castles for Valentine's.
wow.
And if you don't,
But they had the sentimental value, probably. Yeah.
And if you don't make reservations, they sell out of all the spots in like pretty fast. As soon as they start going on sales, like, geez.
Yeah. But you got to think about it too. So if you're like 60 years, right? Or, good amount of time like that, that was, depending on when it was. So if that was like a story done like 2020 or whatever, like back in 1960 or something, that was kind of like a little type of thing. And the service was different than what we were constituted when we grew up going to it. So it's probably got that sentimental value that is kind of like
right, yeah,
more of a special type thing and stuff too. So
and it's kind of cool because the wife, she had a sweatshirt on and it had all these names up and down their sleeves. They had like 30-something grandkids and like
that's pretty cool.
15 great grandkids or something. It was pretty neat. It was a neat little thing.
Yeah, I know that if your wife would say the same as my wife, if we said we're going to White Castle, they were like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" For Valentine's.
Well, it depends. We'd have to go drink beers first, and then she'd be all in for the White Castles.
Yeah,
maybe
that's the trick. That's the trick.
Go get a couple beers first, and then let's go to White Castle.
3 White Castle cheeseburgers yesterday, $3.79. Really? So that's like $1.23, $1.24 a burger. Because it's cheeseburger.
It's like a piece of cheese on their burgers as much as the burger is, though.
Yeah. Must be that they got that inflation on. It's like he said in brother world. It's a brother world out there. They got the depression on. My kin would not turn me in. I gotta watch that movie again. That movie's makes you laugh every time you watch it, I think.
I haven't seen that one. No.
You stole from my kin. Yeah. No wonder I can't eat them anymore. Best ice cream drumsticks. Good humor? I do like the drumsticks once in a while. Ice cream truck with the
that was the one in the cones or what the wrap.
The cone with the nut, like the nutty buddy type thing.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Didn't they have one that had like a piece of bubble gum or something that was down in the bottom of it or something?
Oh, the ice cream?
Yeah.
I don't think I've had that one.
I feel like it was like a Superman flavored ice cream or something, but in the middle
might have been.
Or maybe in the middle of it was like a bubble gum or something. And that was the way they tried to get the kids to get those because it had the bubble gum in it or something. I'm like,
the only thing in the middle I could think with the gum would be the blow pops.
Yeah.
Get
I
remember
like an ice cream had something like that in it too.
I don't think I've ever had that one. My ice cream truck was a surplus USPS truck with the wheel on the right and the bell to ring. Started in February, but quit by April. It got hurled. Yeah. I mean, you're in the New Orleans heat. Yeah, it's going to get hot.
Yeah, especially down there for sure.
Mr. Softies, no ice cream, and 7-Up soda. Yeah. There you go, like a 7-Up float. We call it ice cream trucks, bootleg trucks, 50-cent tricolor pom pops. 50 cents sounds like a deal. I sold bomb pops for my truck. 25-cent mini bomb was my cheapest item on my route with the Vietnamese neighborhood. I'll never forget the hordes of cute Vietnamese kids with quarters in their hands screaming, mini bomb, mini bomb. Don't say that around a veteran. It might be a flashback. I'm just saying.
That'd be very funny if it was the wrong person hearing that.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, all these little Vietnamese kids coming out of Vietnam veteran in the truck, yelling mini bomb, mini bomb. Oh my God, it could get ugly real quick.
Mom and dad, you see the dad go stop, drop, and roll and hiding for shelter somewhere. Like, what? Mini bomb? Where?
Oh man. Says seen Sabbath's last tour in Melbourne. Ozzy singing was incredible at his age. Apparently the tour previous to that he struggled. Yeah, I mean, you probably take care of him. I mean, he is definitely older and stuff, but last stuff I saw him singing, he still sounds pretty good there. And a lot of those artists, they get older, they start taking honey and all that kind of stuff to help their throat and all that kind of stuff to make it better. But yeah.
I feel like Ozzy's one of those that my brother went and saw. He's seen him probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
Half a dozen times or something stupid. It was a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, so the other night I'm sitting down in the lobby of our apartment building here, and we ordered dinner from DoorDash. I'm just seeing hordes of people walk by. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, just hordes of people, like all like young women coming by, girls. So there's some older too. It's just like, what is going like? So I pull up because we're right across the street from the arena now because they made a new arena and stuff, which is nice because I would love to go catch a show there at some point. I just missed a couple weeks ago. LL had the Rock the Bell show over there. I didn't go. But I'm like, what is going on? It's got to be something over there. When I pull it up and it's Lizzo's performing. And that makes it like all these people were coming from like all over, like to see Lizzo perform over there. Which I told the wife, like, I've never heard a Lizzo song. She's like, you had to. Like, I've never in my life ever heard a Lizzo song. I'm pretty sure. Like, I've never, unless I didn't know it was her, I'm pretty sure I never did. So, like, I've heard Rihanna. I know Megan Thee Stallion. I know these other young artists out there. I've never heard a Lizzo song. But
she was on Howard Stern, I don't know, several months ago. She's like super intelligent and like a big time like flute player and stuff. It was unreal. You wouldn't think about like, it's like wouldn't think that she would at least in flute, playing some of the classical stuff or whatever. She's like, oh yeah, I grew up.
Yeah, she was overseas or something, and they gave her one of the flute thing to try or do something, and she sort of played it. Some people were like complaining or something that happened, but it was like this ancient flute or whatever. But yeah, she's a flute player too. I learned when that happened. Yeah. So I didn't know Stevie Wonder could play drums either. I saw that the other day, like old footage of Stevie Wonder playing drums. Like I just thought he was strictly keyboard, piano, but he was playing in a drum set.
Like conspiracy theorists saying that he's
not right.
Like he knows what's like. There's been clips of him showing like it's like. I don't. Is he? Maybe. I don't know.
That would be one of the biggest, longest running scams ever, right? If he was, like, yeah.
I know.
Did you think they'd start questioning Ray Charles if that was the case too? Like, was Ray blind then too? Like, was Jeff Healey blind? We don't know. They call these people out here. Like, yeah, no, he's legally blind, I believe. But it's just funny when you see somebody like come up with these conspiracy theories. But yeah, but I guess if you know the position and all that kind of stuff, you can do it. But yeah. We're in the building we're in. We have a good amount of blind people that actually live here because there's like a blind institute near us. And I mean, they get around and, it takes them a while to get used to stuff, but their other senses, like they say, when one sense goes down, the other ones go up. So their perception is pretty good, right, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so hearing, touch, kind of taste, everything else is in heightened because of that or whatever.
Yeah. There must be lard in those blizzards. No way they're stuck in that. Yeah, I mean, it might be. That might be why they're so tasty. They put some lard in the bottom of those blizzards. Yeah. Probably get some Elmer's glue in there because, at some points in school, we probably all had some Elmer's glue at some point. We probably built up an intolerance to it. It was just like Gen X players were basically training for the bullshit you're about to experience. More like maybe like an obstacle course. I mean, it was just like, start to deal with it now when you're young. So yeah, Monkey bars, no problem. Swings, no problem. Hot ass sliding board, no problem.
Did you always do those merry-go-rounds and you just stood up and just held on to it, just standing up?
You try to stand up and stuff, but it got too fast. You try to sit down or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. Depending on who was spinning it.
Well, usually you try to stand up because it'd be a dare, like to see who can last the longest standing up or whatever. So
right.
Obviously, you had to take the dare, and then someone's spinning it. You're trying to see how long you can stay up there, and then you get to spin it on somebody else and stuff. So yeah. You asked was toast if you fell off the top of those monkey bars. We didn't have that soft, spongy floor. It was a USA first grade concrete. Yeah. So speaking of that, first grade through part of sixth grade, I went to Catholic school. The way I ended up going to Catholic school was after kindergarten. I was in kindergarten. We were actually at one of the playgrounds, and I actually did fall off the monkey bars.
Oh.
And landed, I guess, on my head and had a concussion.
Oh.
Yeah. And so they never contacted my mother about me falling. And I came home, and I think when I came home, I might have been vomiting or something like that and everything. And anyway, they found out, and she had to go deal with the school, but then she pulled me out of that and put me in that Catholic school. But it was, again, the monkey bars were over cement. We didn't have any spongy type stuff underneath of it. I had to go to the hospital, and they kept me for observation. I was there for like 6 days or whatever, which after the first couple of days, I think I was fine, but it ended up being kind of a fun thing, just like you're a 6-year-old kid at the hospital. You're kind of just at a point running around because you don't really have anything to do. It's just like they're running their tests, and it's just like, okay. And then the rest of the time, you're just there. So you're meeting other kids, you're having fun, you're doing other stuff, and it was just like a big sleepover is what it turns into for that week, really.
Probably weren't supposed to be doing because they wanted you like, go in for sure.
But the nurses are like, well, if the kids aren't bothering me, leave them alone. Let them go bother each other. They don't want to deal with it. So, but yeah, your point is very valid, Dee. So yeah, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you tougher. That was our motto. That's how we grew up in Gen X.
Rub some dirt on it, you'll be all right.
What's up, Bumpy? Cheers, my friend. Yeah. We didn't see anything that we probably couldn't try to handle. Then the merry-go-round spinning out of control. I forgot about it. Yeah. It was crazy with the merry-go-round, and it was somebody would go flying, and if they didn't go flying, then you weren't going fast enough. That's just how it was.
I remember Mom and Dad said they used to try to swing around the bar.
Yes.
Like on swing or whatever, and try to go all the way around. I was like, I've never done that, but I've seen people try it, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen somebody do the full.
I've never gone around it. But that was something we would try to swing high to see if we could actually do that. And I freaked myself up at some point. At some points, I got so high, it was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to go any higher. Like it's just like, yeah. That was again stuff that we did back in the day. Like to see if we
I
go
remember
around.
like the old play sets, swing sets at home, like the home edition or whatever.
Yeah.
At home. And nobody would get those far enough in the ground. You swing high enough, and those things would start tilting, coming up off the ground or whatever, because I guess your weight would carry it forward. I don't know what to do, but I've done that many times where.
Well, we'd also do the swing set and get it high enough, and you would jump off to see how far you could travel. Jumping too. So, yeah.
Now I would do those two at the farm.
So it's like a swing jump, so you can get the most distance doing that. Yeah, we come off some pretty high heights for that too. But again, we're the generation that grew up with jarts in the backyard, so go try to buy some jarts nowadays. Like we don't sell those anymore. What was wrong? Like people getting stabbed with them. Well, they should have moved. Like
they're all rounded ball like balls on the end of a stick or something. Back in the day, it was like you're throwing those things and it wasn't rusted, then you really wasn't playing with a true set of yard darts.
Right.
At some point your parents were drunk or something happened and they just forgot to take it in for the night and it rained and then found it rusted, but you still played with them anyway.
Well, it's like the darts. Like when we were kids, we had darts. Like you had the darts with the points, and then it came out with the ones that had like the Velcro or something. They had to stick on. Like that's not darts anymore. You need to stick so you can stick in there. So yeah.
we had an old dartboard, just like the metal tips. Growing up as a kid out in the garage,
Yeah.
the whole wall had nothing but just dart holes
Just
all
dart.
in it. It wasn't even. I don't even know how there's even still any wall left because there's so many holes in it from the darts.
Oh yeah. Gilbert says, I'm off to knock over a few good humor bikes, son. Ice cream truck job was 91, not too long after the war. I thought it was amazing that I had come down to ice cream bombs, right? All the rocket pops. Oh, the red, white, and blue, crazy. Yeah, that's how it was. And yeah, probably with the red, white, and blue with some type of subliminal messaging in there too, right?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. White Castles produce the most offensively awesome farts. Yeah, White Castles going in is one thing. Coming out, totally something different.
whole
there.
nother-
Yeah. It's just like you don't want to have those like at lunch at work. You know what I mean? That's like Todd said earlier. Late night, have some White Castle. And when you're in the safety of your own home and you're not blowing anybody else out. So yeah.
Could be a Dutch oven dream though, like, hey. Significant other, man, I think so, but you have fun doing it for a little while.
I think some wives probably having their claws. Husband cannot have White Castle. I can't eat them anymore. Yeah. Farts and lava, intense heartburn. Yeah. Well, people say that, you can't eat those, but guess what? You'll drink some lactose beers, and those can do the same thing at points. Speaking of Elmer's glue, was always a kid in class eating that crap. The one with the list. Yeah, there was always some kid I was probably eating that. Or, well, in art classes and stuff like that, sniffing the markers as well, or the glue and stuff like that.
I remember one day Shannon, I think it was Walmart or somewhere, and I think we were buying super glue. Maybe it was, and they asked for our ID. I'm like,
Really?
We don't have no alcohol. What do you need our ID for? And she was like, for your glue. I'm like, seriously? You're carding for glue?
Yeah.
I don't know if they did it before. This was probably 10, 15 years ago now, probably. But
well, that's as bad when you go in and you say, I need to get like Claritin D or whatever. And like, we got to show ID and sign off on a thing. It's like, but it's an over-the-counter drug. Yeah, we got ID, but it's over-the-counter drug, so you shouldn't have to, because all the whatever Sudafed, meth heads or something out there.
It makes you feel like a criminal going in there, like you're a druggie or something. You're like, I think you can only do it so many times a month or something.
You can only do it, they limit it because they take your license. Yeah. I'm just like, well, if it's not an over-the-counter drug anymore, then why don't you change it from being an over-the-counter drug? Because over-the-counter is totally the opposite of why I'm back here showing an ID. So, but that's American logic there. So, what did you crack open for a beer and crack mine open there?
This is another one out of the the mixed pack I bought. It's a lager.
Ooh, I've had that one. Yeah.
I don't know that I actually ever had it before.
When I had it, was in a bottle, but now obviously they have it in the cans too. So yeah.
So just an old plain Jane lager. What's the ABV on this one?
You remember it being crisp and refreshing.
4.8. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I like it. It's pretty good.
So I'm going to actually crack one open here, which I think if Vanessa's still in the house, is Dragon's Milk.
Uh-oh.
And this is one of the other chocolate ones that I actually had here too. So haven't had this in a good amount of time, but this 11% ABV is the coffee chocolate, which it's May. So if you are looking for Dragon's Milk, I believe the new one is actually out now since we're in the 5th month. So this was for the first 4 months. They had this one here, bourbon barrel aged stout with coffee and chocolate. So
I haven't seen that one.
Really?
No.
Well, they might have switched it up now. They actually, I think they have the red ale or something out now too, possibly.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, did they even come out with the whatever
They got away from doing like the series number or whatever, but this is the one they have for the first 3 months. Yeah,
I hadn't seen it, but then I remember seeing the red. I was like, well, did they just do away with the every 4 month thing or whatever it is they were doing?
That's a nice, mighty fine beer right there. It was nice of it. You get like almost like a spiced coffee type note on there as well, like cinnamon type feel.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look for that one though,
But
because
that's solid. Yeah, it's definitely like a cinnamon type kick you get on this one here. Nice smoothness to it. Nice creamy undertone base. You might do all right, New Holland. You might do all right.
I think you're gonna make it.
One of my best deals ever. One of my Rod J deals from back in the day when I walked into Depths. New Holland Poet.
Oh
A
yeah.
case, $12.99.
There you
That
go.
was from back in the day. I don't get those anymore now. I'm in Baltimore. I miss Depths. I miss it. I don't know who's getting the Rod J deals there now, but probably the best deal was probably when I got the foreign extra stout, because that was $12.99 I got for a case one time. And then I got
I would say probably one of your best deals would have been those $1.99 stouts. You got
that was
one
at
time.
Party Source. That was at Party Source when those with the rum
It
barrel.
wouldn't matter where it was at, but those you sent out. That was like those things were amazing.
I should have wiped them out. I didn't know at the time when I got them, but I knew it was a good deal, so I said we'll give them a try. If I know it, I would just put them all in the cart and walked out all of them because those were so good.
So you're still talking like what, $12 for a 6-pack of those bottles? Because when they're like $1,
they were like $9 a bottle. Yeah. So you get like a 6 for $12, and those would.
They were what, 13-14% or something like that. They were pretty high.
Yeah, those are like from Spain too. So you're looking at, if you got a regular 6-pack and they had not been on that thing, you're probably looking over 20 something for like a 6-pack of that. Probably.
Yeah, things are so good.
They were freaking so good. I just think wait a minute, you had the one though, because I sent you one from all three, but you had the one, right, that Shannon knocked over or something at one point.
Well, I think you sent that
by accident.
I had 3 of them.
You had the 3. You had the 3 different ones.
One of them, yes. One of them.
Yeah.
Mom got like 2 out of it. She spilled the rest of it. I was like, I
remember you telling the story. You were like so sad.
I was pissed. Like, don't cry over spilt milk. I'm like, yeah, but it was a beer, and I'm gonna cry because it was so good, and I'm never gonna get it again. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I have not seen those beers anywhere since then. I mean, those, like I said, those were out of Spain and Party Source. They were able to come through with that stuff there. I miss Party Source. I miss Jungle Gyms. I mean, they were good for getting some stuff from overseas. Haven't found anywhere here comparable to that at all. So. Now, even going to Total Wine, it's not even like close.
Was Party Source, was that where Braxton was?
Yeah, Braxton Labs, okay. Yeah.
What was the other one? I guess maybe that was Depths.
Depths was the other one where you got like the big bottle we got into Belgian ales.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's where I was getting those cases were $12.99 over there on stuff. And it was just like, you see a case there $12.99, it's like, okay, well, they got a case over here, but it's like, I don't know, Red Dog or some bullshit, right? And it's just like, wait a second. And you look back, that's actually a pretty good craft beer. And it's like 10%. It's a stout. So that can last for a good amount of time. And it's just like, is this real? Like $12.99? And they're like, yeah. It's like, oh, pick it up, throw it in. You know what? Let me get another one too on here. Yeah.
Is there a limit on these? I'll take them all.
And Depths was where I also got those Averys for like $4.99 or something. And it was like the pumpkin KY ales and all the high ABV stuff. It was like $4.99 a bottle. And it was like, are you kidding me? This is like $15 everywhere else. So
yeah.
I miss my deals.
That for sure. Yeah, because you were paying that for like a bottle by itself.
Yeah.
Let alone for a bunch of them.
Those were like All in the Family. Those were the days. When I can get beer real cheap. I went to Catholic schools until college. In 5th grade, Evan Meyer pushed me through a hole in the chain fence on the schoolyard, ripping my pants and cutting my leg out. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Catholic or public, you definitely had the growing pains that would take place there. Yeah. Had to go to Sister Mary's office where she dressed my leg wound. Mom didn't know until later that day.
should probably beat your ass too while you're in there getting the.
Well, he got pushed though. he was the one.
You're probably still whipping your ass anyway. Sister.
Yeah.
Sister's gonna just go lay the beat down for sure, probably no matter what.
Yeah, well, you always hear about like Catholic schools and some of the stuff. Now, it might have been because we were in New Jersey and stuff, but it's not like we ever got like the rule or anything like that, or it was never that bad where we were. But I think in New Jersey they weren't allowed to actually touch kids and stuff too. So there's a lot of schools, not like down south where it's like they were getting. I don't know if they still get paddled in some schools or not, but yeah, you didn't have that kind of stuff up north. At least where I was at, you didn't. We'll swing as high as we can and jump off. Yeah, that's what we did, Bob. We would get up there and try to jump off and stuff. Luckily, we never went to the ER from anything like that. That would be later on in life after I discovered drinking. All right, day 3 house of vacation. Doc, I think you're ready to go home. Rod, who are you? Where am I? Can I get another nurse bathers? Yeah. I was just a young one there. I mean, it was fun because they'd bring around, when you're in a kids ward, they'd bring around all different treats, and you'd have like people that would come in like clowns or whatever it may be, kind of doing stuff. Party. So yeah. So it was like I said, it was like a sleepover, really. It was almost like I didn't want to go home at the point. It was like we were having so much fun and stuff. So it's like
no, don't make me.
Yeah. Oh, Dovetail Rock Beer. Very nice. Yeah. Seriously, I don't even get heartburn from them. Yeah, I mean, it's all about knowing what your levels are, right? You could be good, not get the heartburn or the farts. I don't know if anybody doesn't get the farts if you eat White Castle. Is there anybody?
It's never affected me, but the other one not so much.
Is there anybody fart tolerant when they eat White Castle? Like they don't get the farts. Like they're good to go. Or
yeah, there should be a warning of all warnings on those.
Yeah. It should be like a gas warning. This may cause extra.
It should be.
Yeah.
Could cause fights, but if you're okay with it, go ahead.
What was it? I was looking on live the other day. It popped up. And I don't ever watch the show or whatever, but it was kind of like when you pull up your internet and you pull up like the Explorer or you pull up Edge or Chrome or whatever. They have little news stories up there.
Oh, yeah.
I guess one of the View hosts, basically she was talking about Whoopi Goldberg farting on The View during the breaks, and like Whoopi was upset with it. And it was just like do women just do that in mixed I guess guys will do it. It depends who you're with, right? Like it's usually, if you're just messing with guys, yeah, you might crop dust somebody as your buddy, right? Or something like that and everything. But I think if you're like in a business setting, you don't usually do that unless it's something that's silent but deadly kind of sneaks out. But apparently in the set of The View, Whoopi likes to basically crop dust everybody there.
That reminds me of That reminds me. Of course, my dad and my aunt now are passed away. But my dad when I was a kid growing up, my dad used to go over to my aunt's house all the time and do work because she was single. So he would, was his sister. So he'd go there and, do housework, build things for her, whatever. But they were at Kmart, like the old Kmart shopping center one time, and he did that to her. Just walked by and just walked around the corner. And just so happened there was somebody that come pushing the cart up, and she was standing. And you have to know, man. She's standing and start giggling, and her head would stop bobbing up and down. But she started laughing so hard because those people thought she was the one that did it. And my dad came back around, and he was just laughing his ass off, like, "What'd you do?"
I think if you're crop dusty, you should have to make the plane sound or something. Just like, just to give like a warning. Oh, yeah, I'm a product of Catholic school. Rod, is this some sort of cult you're assembling? I'm in, yeah. Yeah. It was funny, though. So, I mean, Catholic school, when I left Catholic school to go to public school, even as a kid, I realized, like, how much ahead kind of the education was. Like, I got there, and it was like, didn't you guys learn this a couple grades ago? Like, it was funny, like, how it was all ahead of the stuff. So I don't know. People like to send their kids to private school if they can, I guess, because of the education. But you did see a little bit of a difference there, at least where I was.
Yeah, I think it depends on the private school too, though.
It might depend.
One of my best friends, private school he went to was
Yeah.
it was a Christian school, but it wasn't super huge. So it was like graduating class had like 25 or 30 kids in it.
Oh, that's really small. That's like Little House on the Prairie small.
Yeah, but it was and it was like grades 12 through high school all in the same school.
Yeah.
So we've had
That's-
conversations about that. Now, and I went to a public school my whole life, and
Yeah.
my graduating class was like 300 and something, so it was huge.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I was like, so they didn't have certain sports because they didn't have enough kids. They didn't have a lot of things that a lot of high schools had at the time.
True.
But no, if I had to do over, he's like, I totally would have just went to public school.
Yeah. No, I mean
it wasn't really up to him. It was his mom and dad that sent him there, but.
Yeah. I think it depends on, like you're saying, like our Catholic school that I went to, we had a pretty good sized class. I mean, by the time I went to public school, like our graduating class was like 100, I think 103 or 104 or something like that and everything. So it wasn't a huge class, but even when I was in the Catholic school, we had a pretty good sized class and stuff too. And it could have been just the way the systems and stuff were set up, but it's kind of like when I left Catholic school, we had to do all those standardized tests, all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, I was always like in the 90 plus percentile and thing. When I got to public school, I started to like, I wouldn't say like go back, digress or whatever, because it's like I didn't want to answer all the questions because then it's like, oh, you're like this know-it-all that just came to our school type thing, right? You started getting that part of it. That's why I say sometimes I felt like it was ahead, like because then it was like, didn't want to be that nerd like Anthony Michael Hall Breakfast Club kid, right? So yeah. So, but it could have
kids, whatever. Like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. But it was fun. I mean, the public school ended up working out and stuff too and stuff. So,
Yeah, I think you can get both out of both systems. I don't think one is greater than the other. Like a lot of the people that send the kids are public, private schools think it's top notch. They're like, yeah, it could be. We used to always say coming from the public school system was like, if you went to the private schools, you were probably doing the same drugs, but just the more expensive stuff.
Probably, yeah. Oh, you're not on generic, you're on the brand stuff. Yeah. No, I look back and I said, well, one, when I went to Catholic school to public, the first thing I noticed that I didn't have anymore, because the Catholic school in New Jersey, where I was going, we'd have recess like at 10:30 or whatever, like that and everything. But when we had recess, they would always have like a soft pretzel person there. So you can get like soft pretzels. They didn't have that at the public school. I liked my soft pretzel at recess, get a little mustard on. That was a nice little break. You become accustomed to having that out there. You didn't get that at public school. And then just some of the other stuff that, it was just a little different, but it was kind of fun because like at Catholic school, like we would play sports during breaks or lunch and all kind of stuff, but they wouldn't give you any like things to play with. So like we would try to play baseball, but you had no bat. So we would basically play like a handball where you'd have a racquetball. And so we went to public school, so you got the bats and you got all that other kind of stuff too. Yeah, so it was like a switch off on what you can do there. But we would do all kinds of stuff differently. We were more creative on how we had to do stuff. But it was, it's just all part of growing up and where you're at. And as kids, you learn to adapt. You just adapt to whatever your environment is. And you don't pay anything else in your mind usually. Like we play football, but we had to get like a Nerf football. You couldn't have the actual leather football for whatever reason. But yeah.
That's true. You just kind of fall into your surroundings or whatever, Yeah.
But it was good. It was fun. It was all part of, growing up. And you get those little mass ceremonies and they give you a little wafer. I'd be like, can I get some extra Jesus today? Because I like the bread. Can I get a little extra Jesus? You're gonna tell me Jesus? There's no extra Jesus for me. There's no extra Jesus that I can actually enjoy right now.
Like you can't tell me no on that, right? I mean, is that even a thing? Like, you can't say no to that.
Yeah.
No extra. Can you say no?
Like the pretzel guy didn't come today. I need another wafer, please. Can I get another more? Give me one more Jesus. Some more of that grape juice you got right there too. Watch it down.
Yeah, I'll have seconds. I'll just go back to the end of the line and just go back there again.
Has anybody seen Rod? Oh, he's in there doing shots of grape juice right now.
And that's where it all began, right there. That was.
I'm I'm all about the blood of. I'm all about the blood of Jesus. I'm trying to get as much blood as I can get right now.
Yeah.
I'm in a transfusion state of mind.
Like I had to stay away for now. I'm a little parched, so I need
Mhm.
extra. You need some extra juice too.
I mean, how can you get in trouble for that? Like, go to the principal's
know,
office. Go for what? For getting extra Jesus?
Yeah,
You're going to send me to
right.
the principal's office for wanting extra Jesus. Yeah. Oh man. So
Like
yeah.
I dare you to write the bet.
Oh yeah.
Then
Let's
sister
wait for
come in and be like, "Oh, you want extras? So I'll give you extras."
Yeah. Although with the wafer, I was like, put it in my hand. Don't put it in my mouth. Put it in my hand. Don't put it in my mouth. I don't know you, sir.
I know your background.
Yeah. I've read some things. Oh God. Yeah. See, it was after Vatican II, so the Catholics didn't beat me, but it was awkward dropping my khakis for Sister Mary. I still have the physical scar. I can remember being a kid. We did have one cute nun, but it was like, it's like, should I be looking at that nun that way? Like, she's pretty cute, but it's like, you're like a little kid just admiring that keys, and it's like now you feel guilty. Like, does that come up in confessional? Do you have to break that out there? Yeah, I was eyeing Sister Eunice over there. Do you bring that up? Kind of keep that inside.
I mean, I feel like wasn't there a Sister Mary pretty much in every private school?
Everywhere? Yeah.
Did they just
yeah.
adapt the name Mary, or was that their actual name?
Well, I mean, Mary Magdalene, right? So you had like Mary was probably a common one.
Well, I'm sure it probably was, but it just kind of makes you wonder, like, maybe maybe I should be called Mary.
But I don't know if it was Mary really the name of the sister, because you call him Sister Mary, but like the popes get to make up names. They're like Pope Francis' name really isn't Francis.
I mean, I don't know. I never went to private school, so I don't know. That's why I was asking. I was like, I feel like there's always a Sister Mary at every single. Like, is that they just take it on because that's the name they want, or is that their actual name?
Good questions. I mean, you say, "Hey, Francis" to him in Kroger, he's not going to turn around because his name isn't Francis. If you say Pope Francis, he'll turn around. But outside that, he's like, "You be talking to somebody else. That's not my name."
His name's Frank or something instead. Like, yeah, okay. That's not my name.
Of course, whenever I hear the name Francis, I think of Stripes and the whole Psycho thing too. Don't call me Francis. Jesuit high school tally totally gave me a leg up in college where I tested out on most freshman classes. There you go. Moved up a little bit. Catholic school created some brilliant deviants and ties and skirts. I had a blast. People had the idea backwards. Yeah, I mean, there was something about the skirts there. I remember the whole Britney Spears video in the Catholic outfit that kind of blew her career up right there. Yeah, and what you call what was the one? Billy Idol, Rock the Cradle. It was the girl from
Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, we in the Catholic, she was in the Catholic outfit when that started on the video too. Yeah. Scar from the fest, not from Sister Mary. Yeah. I remember those whooping some schools they did. It depended where you were, I guess. Our school they did not that I was aware of. Of course, before we went in our football, we threw a disc. Was it wet though? So you gotta get it, soak it down so you can actually carry, through the air. But yeah. A kid spent in class and I made him spit in a coffee can for an hour after school 2 months. Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. Would that be worse than being in the corner that we talked about last week? I still think that's the worst punishment. Standing in the corner looking at the wall.
I don't know. Could you actually spit in a can for an hour though? Like I feel like you just run out of what happens if you just ran out of slab after a time?
Well, see, the Big Daddy's Gen X too. So again, we're for that generation where like I had, a friend that would get caught smoking, and so the dad would go out and like get a carton of cigarettes, make him smoke them all. That was our generation. Like, don't tell the kid don't smoke how bad it is for you. You know what? You want to smoke? Smoke this whole carton.
Oh, when Shannon, she was in high school. We hang out with him still, and actually, his dad was one of my shop teachers in middle school at a completely different school system. She said one time when he was younger, he got I guess he was smoking outside and was all his butts were outside, and his dad scooped them all up and put them in his bed, and just like because he found out, he was smoking and throwing the
Yeah.
butts out in the yard, so he scooped them all up and put them in his bed or whatever. Like, yeah, like do that now, they'd call like CPS on you or something.
Yeah, it was a different time growing up. Escaped all that big day, even though I know it was happening in other schools in the 70s. Yeah. Sister Mary was not cute. She was a principal, though. Yeah. Not all were cute, but occasionally you'd have a cute nun. It's kind of like you might feel conflicted there. Yeah. I've been on the couch watching TV with my girlfriend, and she's like, F you, you ate White Castle.
Until next week.
Until next week, yeah. Immaculate Heart of Mary off Irvin Park. Also, Big Daddy was there to school too, going to Catholic school. I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I was only there. I was there for 5 years in New Jersey, and we had moved for a year out to Columbus, Ohio, and I was in Catholic school for like half a year. Then when we came back to New Jersey, I went to public school from that point on. But it was good. It was fun. It was a nice experience. It was definitely a change getting adjusted to it, though. I mean,
I can imagine.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything in the Catholic school, it was more routine as far as, everybody wore the same blue pants, blue vest, blue clip-on tie, blue shirt or whatever. So it was kind of more of a uniform type thing to where you had all kinds of different stuff happening in the public school.
But I know some public schools here have gone to like uniforms or whatever, which I wouldn't be opposed to that. I probably would have hated it doing it growing up, but
yeah.
As a parent, like I wouldn't have been opposed to that because it kind of takes away from a kid being maybe not so have enough or whatever to a certain kid that might have a lot of money or something, and the styles collide or something, and that kid's getting made fun of because he's got hand-me-downs or something like that. But if everybody's all in uniform, then it's like they're all the same. So
yeah, I think that was part of it too. Was getting kids so that they wouldn't stand out or be picked on, I guess, trying to get them all in a uniform type thing as well. When you think about the public schools and what they were doing. So
you're right.
She said, I'm heading to get some golf sleep. Catch you on the next one. Good night. Good night, DD. Have fun playing golf tomorrow. Must have an early tea time.
Get him straight. Yeah, he might be back to those 8 o'clock tea times.
Yeah. I went to St. Dominic School, Jesuit High in New Orleans. Yeah. The only thing I did was it was funny because when I was in 8th grade, I was wanting to go back to Catholic school at one of our places. We had a school that was like Bishop Eustace because in 9th grade they had a golf team. And I was wanting to learn how to play golf. And I was like, I wanted to go there, but ended up not happening. But I was like the only thing there. Like the sports programs they had for the high schools, like, the golf or the cross and all this other kind of stuff versus just baseball, football, soccer, wrestling type things that you were used to in a public school.
What's the big private school in Jersey there where they're big in basketball, where like the Hurleys or whatever come from or something?
From a high school?
Yeah.
Or
like
Hurleys are from North Jersey, so somewhere up there. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's got to be something up near East Orange or something like that, probably.
St. Patrick, I forget what the name, but they're like a nationally known like high school for like talent and stuff come out of there, but I can't remember the name of the school.
That's kind of like Western PA in football with like where Marino.
But I'm pretty sure they're out of Jersey, but it could have been.
I think you're talking about as Bishop something. I think.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, like Bobby Hurley's and the Hurley that coaches at UConn now.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah.
I think he was the head coach there, but I can't think of the name of the school.
I think I know what you're talking about. Let me take a look here. Go through. I want to say it's Bishop something as well.
That's what I'm thinking too. what is that? I remember they were always on like Scholastic Sports America when I was, growing up. It was like see all the prolific players and stuff were coming out of. But I didn't know if you were familiar with it or if it was somewhere close to where you were at.
No, because I was in South Jersey. I'm looking on here. I'm trying to see if I see anybody on here that might have went there.
I feel like it was.
Oh, that's funny. Bishop Eustace School I mentioned is actually listed as one of the top basketball schools now, too. Might have been Saint. Or is it Saint Benedict? Saint Benedict's Preps in Newark.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I think it is one of the Catholic schools. I think.
Well, see, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was one of the Hurley's dad. I thought was his name.
He was. I think he was Dan Senior for that. Yeah, because I think Bobby's brother is Dan Junior.
Let's see. It was okay. St. Anthony's.
St. Anthony's. St. Anthony High School. Yeah.
In Jersey City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe Bob Hurley is the dad. Yeah, Bob Hurley's the dad. And then Bobby's named after him. And then there's Dan. Which is always kind of funny.
Bob Hurley, yeah. Bob Hurley.
Which is always kind of funny when you name one of your kids after you. Like, what if you have another kid? That other kid doesn't get to carry your name. So it's kind of like, I mean, obviously you're the second kid because you didn't get the first kid because you didn't get the first choice to carry.
Well, I guess it's a junior and then is it the first or the second, the third?
Well, usually it's like the junior. And then
there's a third kid that becomes.
They become like the
but
first
George
or something.
Get like George
he named them all the same. He named them all George. Like,
yeah.
He kept. I give it to Foreman. He kept it straight. Nobody's getting any preferential treatment. You're all named George.
That'd be terrible. Like George, of like all 12 of them, be like, what? Not you. George the ninth.
Right. But it's like, oh yeah, Bobby Jr. and then Dan. Like, hey, Dan.
Right.
It's like you're a visiting cousin or something. Yeah.
St. Anthony's. I knew it was something like because we have a St. Anthony's elementary school here locally. So I knew it was something that was a school around here, but I couldn't think of what it was. I wasn't sure if it was the same as the high school or lower.
Yeah. He said there was a real line in NOLA between the mostly white Catholic schools and the mixed public schools. It still exists as a way of maintaining segregation. Well, some spots they still have that for sure. And then JT said he's a junior as well. But you remember back in the 80s when Miami played Notre Dame and it was Catholics versus convicts they were building. You remember that? Like,
oh, yeah.
Because they were all getting at the whole criticism type thing. And it was like Miami was being seen as it was like, which, again, that plays in some of the tones there as well. But it was kind of like crazy when you look back, and that's like one of the things they had on that ESPN.
The third year, whatever.
Yeah, that they had like there, that big matchup. But yeah, that was one of the things that turned me against like a Notre Dame back then too. Then we lost to them in our championship game against them, but it was just like they felt like a mightier than thou attitude or something with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got friends that are like Indiana basketball fans, but they love Notre Dame football. But I feel like one of those, like, I feel like that was kind of the reason I didn't like Notre Dame football was because they were always on TV all the time. And
they had the contract. They had the big contract. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they still like have a big contract with NBC or whatever. It's like it was always just shoved down through. I was like, I don't want like that. I don't want that. I don't want to like that. Like, how can you like one team in one sport, but like another team, and especially in college where it should all be unified? I guess you get it like one and the other. I don't know. That never made sense to me to do that. But.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like they pretty much said, "Well, we don't got a football team in Indiana, so I'm going to go Notre Dame instead."
Which I'm sure that's probably a big part of it. No, you're right. That probably
Yeah,
is
yeah.
part of it was because Indiana football sucks. But
I mean, Kentucky basketball fans probably did it too because they were terrible for so many years, and then they now got a fan base, but they were not good for so long.
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like
but I don't
you
know who
know.
they root for. That'd be like, would you root for Louisville? I mean, there's rivalries and.
Oh, I don't think they. I think from being in Kentucky, they would not root for Louisville.
No, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what other team could you choose though? Like, you couldn't go to Tennessee because that's a rivalry
No.
also in itself. So it's like, what would
They
you?
probably will go out of SEC, I would think, or something. Because I think back, like when I was in West Virginia, going to West Virginia, I'm always been a West Virginia fan since going there. But before going there, I think I was Florida State fan, so I would root for Florida State on some stuff. But Florida State never played West Virginia. If they would have played West Virginia, I would root for West Virginia.
Yeah.
And I was a Michigan fan as well. That I would root for them on stuff too. So, but again, if it was in conference, it would have been West Virginia. I'd have been pulling for.
But see, that's not. That makes more sense because you're not pulling for another college in the same state. Like I don't know how that would. Because like here, we're in the. Of course, I know we're in the one end of the spectrum. We're in the southern Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana's not in the southern, but we're it's 80 miles.
I mean, I would root for Marshall if they're not playing West Virginia. I would give them support. But again, they're like,
and then Notre Dame, Chicago area ish of the state of Indiana. It's like, what do you like? But you find that a bunch. Like everybody's all pro Notre Dame football. But in basketball, you might either be Indiana or you might be Purdue or
Marquette.
You hardly ever see a person that likes Notre Dame football likes Notre Dame basketball. I don't know that I've ever met anybody that likes them both.
Yeah, well, they've had their ups and downs there for basketball as well. They haven't done anything in a bit. I think is it Mike Bream that's still their head coach? I think in Notre Dame.
No. Who'd they just? Shrewsbury. That was at Penn State. Left there and went to Notre Dame.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know
he'll
that.
be starting his first year up there this year.
Yeah, I think they finally ran out on Mike, like not getting it done. That they just
he was never like they had successful seasons, but they never really went far at anything.
Right.
So I like Shrewsbury. Of course, he's a hometown native. So he's from around my part here.
Emerson, if you go back to your second year in college and introduce a beer from the present in an effort to promote creativity going forward, what would it be jumping into the DeLorean? If you go back to my second year in college and introduce a beer, well, I guess if I went back, that would be like 88. So because of the mayhem and stuff that it gets now when it comes out, probably like Bourbon County Stout might be one.
It wouldn't be hard to pick for that because I remember my second year in college, I was drinking Red Dog and ice.
Well, that's what I think. That's what he's saying. So you go back what they were drinking into what you have now.
So anything you can pick anything and go back in and be like this.
I mean, you go back with the other half beer and be like, look what this is, type thing too, and blow some minds.
Other half, or as much as I hate to say it, like a slushy 450 North, like slushy.
450 North, yeah. Oh, that would, yeah.
Thinking about that in the 80s and 90s, like, really, this is grape juice. What are you talking about, beer?
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, drink 10 of them and see.
Yeah. Going back with the sour wouldn't be as bad because I think back to when I was in school when I went like you had your regular macro pretty much type beers, unless you were on the West Coast or something where you were able to get a Sierra Nevada or you saw an Anchor come down or whatever. It was mainly macro, but cocktails were a lot bigger. So you go back with something like some of these beers that taste like cocktail type drinks, you probably would blow the doors off of stuff, But like Hot Tub Time Machine, and then all of a sudden now you're on this company and stuff. Like when you went back and it wasn't Google, it was Frugal because he took it over.
Makes me think of some of those Firestone Walker beers. Like they had some of the different type different types of alcohol, beer flavored or whatever alcohol.
Yeah. 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 You could go back there and just like destroy some taste buds and stuff.
Trying to think of some, like the Manhattan or something like that. I think they had a Manhattan or some of the other ones. I don't remember what all of them were now, but
yeah.
Some of those like cocktail type beers.
Well, you're talking about like the Southern Tier type stuff they do,
or even Southern Tier, yeah. But I
Yeah.
think Firestone had some also.
Firestone has some. I know Southern Tier was one of the crafted type things as well too, like old fashioned ales and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think of some of those like Girl Scout cookie, like Southern Tier,
the thick mint.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like back in the 90s or 80s or whatever. It's like, that'd be unheard of. Like, what are you doing?
It'd be just like the movie introducing the Chuck Berry dance to the guy on the guitar. You know?
Right.
Yeah, JT, that would give you a heads up. Yeah, Sam Adams, Sierra Nevada, all that. Yeah. I dropped a hazy EIPA more than 20 years before it was invented. Yeah, you take another half back there, it'd just be like, I don't know if people would have appreciated other half back then, though. I don't know if it was something we had to build towards as a people to get to that level. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you think back, we had the old commercial with the bitter beer face type things, right? Like, people were used to the bitter and of the beer. So it might be a little too much for them to get at that point as well. So you have to consider that there, too. But
I kind of wonder how it all kind of evolved over time. Like, taste buds and stuff of the people's wanting something of a little more flavor than just like your Bud Light, your macros or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like
it was. I know it was a long period of periods of time of change, but it's like where did the boom just all of a sudden everybody just like, oh, I want a craft beer.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think you're looking at. For me, I'm going to say that's probably like the early 2000s because you had Jimmy Carter allow homebrew in the 78.
You're right.
And then you had Fritz take off with Anchor like that 78, 79. And you also had Ken take off with Sierra Nevada around that time as they started experimenting with stuff. And then it kind of gradually built up. And I think like in the 90s of some of the microbreweries that actually tried to open business, but they failed. Like they weren't getting enough traction there. But then 10 years later, whatever, it was now the scene and people were doing it. They were just ahead of their time on stuff.
Right.
So, so I feel like it was like early 2000s, like stuff started to just
I remember
get more to the masses unless you were on the coast where you were able to get something ahead of time or in these little pockets around the country. It just took time to actually come in.
Yeah, I remember when we first started going to Beer Fest was for that reason, because you could try different styles of beer for, really wasn't paying very much money for it.
Yeah.
And I remember the very first IPA I had, I took a drink and I was like, nope, and I poured it out.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done with it.
Until this day, that's the only beer I've ever poured out at a Beer Fest.
Yeah.
But now I love IPAs, and it's like, so it's just,
Yeah, it was a gradual kind of build up. So it was kind of part of the process to actually to get there. It's funny because you have some things that also get dropped out over a period of time. Like they talk about one of the things I'm reading with the Beer Bible was talking about miles. Miles were pretty popular over the UK. They had a good run, and then they started being squeezed out by other stuff, but then they started making a comeback because of stuff here in the States. And so now people like the Miles, a nice, smooth, lower ABV type beer that has a little bit of that tone to it from the malts and all that kind of stuff. So they all go in like little patches, little circles, little time frames. So it takes a while to get to some points. He said, good point, Rob. When the beer first appeared in Norway, bars 86, it wasn't very popular. There was a Vienna lager, darker beers also not being. Yeah, it's just because they're not accustomed to it yet. It takes a while, and plus, like Todd hit on the palate type thing, it takes a while for your palate to actually become accustomed to some of the newer type stuff. It's kind of like you think back to when we were kids, and the first time we took a sip of beer, we were probably like we didn't. Why would you drink this? Like, you take a sip out of your parents or grandparents, like beer type thing, and you're like, how bad it was. But then by the time you become like 18 or 19 or 21, whatever it is, you're like, you start to get into it. It just takes time to mature and get to that point.
Right. Yeah. I remember. You remember when my cousin Pat was playing Call of Duty with us there for a while?
Yeah. How was
He
Pat, by
used
the way?
to. I remember when my dad was still alive, and craft beer wasn't really even that big of a thing. But there was some, some craft beers, whatever. But he'd bring like a 6-pack of something over. My dad would always call them those funny beers because it wasn't your maybe Miller Lite or Bud Light or Fall City or whatever back then. He's like, you're probably just bringing those so somebody else will drink none of them because you're the only one that will drink them. And I just remember when he started doing it, I was like, it was funny. Just thinking of how like it's evolved since then.
Yeah.
I probably it wasn't even anything really super craft, but it wasn't your main macro type beer.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you were, JT, because I can tell you, like in Cincinnati, mid-90s is where we saw some of the microbreweries go under, like that were trying to take off. It was just too soon for them. They were just 10 more years later, they'd have been in a totally different situation. It depends where you were and the one thing, and they always talk about when trends happen, like on stuff, what they find from history is a lot of things happen from the coastal areas and come inward to the country and a lot of stuff. So it's kind of like maybe because more of the coastal things are more of the progressive type areas and they're willing to take more risk and try stuff. But they find a lot of times when things happen here, it comes from the outsides in. And so when you think about craft beer, you're talking about California, you're talking about Oregon, obviously, you're talking about New York, you're talking about Maine, you're talking about Connecticut, so you have a lot of when you talk about craft beer, those are your hotbeds of like, when you go to those areas, you're going to get great beer. So it took a while for that to actually bleed in where people in the main parts or the middle of the country could actually get it absorbed as well. So depending where you were, if you were closer to maybe some of the coastal or outline areas, you probably got a little bit quicker. But if you were like in the heartland, it took a while to warm up to it, to actually grow that and become a fan of craft beer. Just like Todd was saying about, his dad calling them the funny beers. It was kind of like in some areas, those were popular and people were on board already. But yet in Indiana, it was kind of like, oh, I'm not ready for that yet.
You're right.
So, yeah.
And I feel like even then it was like he was just drinking maybe like an Amberbach or something. It wasn't anything,
yeah,
super ordinary or whatever.
And see, JT said he hated IPAs the first time before he appreciated it. Yeah, it was kind of that weird because, like, the first time I had an IPA myself, I thought about, like I said, the bitter beer face back in the day, how people used to hate bitter type beer, but now you learn to appreciate some of the bitter and type things that come along with that and everything. So, and now keep in mind, it's different of a bitter, and you have the bitter feel of the beers now, but you also have the fruity, the tropical, you have the different type versus when it was like a bitter macro beer back in the day.
Yeah. Wasn't just straight like hot bomb or whatever. Like it is.
You're like, I can appreciate the bitter and when it has all these other things taking place versus just the bitter and then you have the corn type beer or whatever. Around the first time you learned about a Beta beer, the Purple Haze seemed to be a breakthrough for them, but I didn't think we were milk drinking 92. Now, the first time I actually had Purple Haze would have been it would have been like around 2011, 2012, I think, because the first time I actually when I first started getting into craft beer, that was Ithaca Flower Power. That was 2010. So it took a little bit of time there for me to actually get into it because we weren't seeing now places were maybe starting to sell stuff, but it just wasn't growing. Now, I mentioned the microbrewery we had in the 95, 96 years. They actually were more focused on European beer. So they had a lot of Pilsners, they had a lot of different lager type styles, but they were a microbrewery in that regard. So they weren't doing things like IPAs and stuff like that along those lines. But getting into like a Beta, finding them, that was around 2010, 2011 when I first started getting into stuff because one of my local spots would have like the Purple Haze, they'd have the Andigator, they'd have like the one of them I did was like one of the 22-ounce bottles of the I gotta look to see which one it was here now, but it was like one of their specialty type beers. Let me see here.
I'm trying to think when I had that purple haze because I was thinking, oh man, we got purple haze. This is awesome. I don't remember what year it was either.
Let's see here. Abita. That's a good thing about Untapped too, because it has when you had the beers, right? So you can always see that there. I was thinking the Abbey Ale when I had the Abbey Ale. That was back in 2015. Purple Haze, 2014 actually. First time I had it, June 27th, 2014. And that was the first one I had from Abita. And then I also had what did I have after that? I had the Andy Gator was November 2014. But then I later on would have stuff like the Triple Haze, and I would have like the Abbey Ale, the Wrought Iron IPA. I went through a good amount of some of the beers from Abita, the Bourbon Street Honey Pale Ale, the Turbo Dog. Turbo Dog's pretty popular, I think, for a lot of people. The Giacomo IPA, Pecan Harvest Ale, Big Easy IPA. So I went through a little bit of a run there with the Abita beers too. South Louisiana has a lot of foodies, so Abita getting a little local following by 1990. There's probably some good stuff you can pair up with some of their stuff too. The little pecan ale I mentioned was a pecan pie or pecan, depending where you're from. Yeah. 2010 I was familiar. I was familiar with timeline. I only took beer drinking again in 2016 as I wasn't a big drinker for the previous 20 years. Fucking all. Yeah, so I mean it's kind of like and it's funny because before I got into beer, like in the 90s, like I was mentioning, when I bartended for a few years back then, but in college, we would drink beer, but we also drank a lot of cocktails. So I was a big fan of drinking like Jack Daniels, and we'd have like Southern Comfort, and we'd have different things where we had like mixers. Obviously, the 90s for the Gen Xers was a good run in Long Island iced teas. You don't meet a lot of Gen Xers that never had to run a Long Island iced teas for a period, right? That was popular. The kamikazes were popular back then too. So it's kind of like, we did the whole car bombs, the sake bomb, all kinds of stuff that we did back then through the 90s. So it was kind of like beer was there, but beer was kind of just like a sidecar to the motorcycle type thing. It was there, but we had other stuff that we were actually drinking as well. So screwdrivers and not to mention during the 90s, you had the cooler runs, right? You were drinking Bartle and James. You were drinking Boone's Farm. You were drinking all kinds of other stuff. So beer wasn't as hot as what it is now, in my opinion, for what you were looking for.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. I wonder what Boone's Farm would taste like nowadays. We should do a show just going back and just trying Boone's Farm. I don't know. After watching Shannon do the Mad Dog, maybe we don't do that.
No, just let that be.
Maybe we just leave it as a memory.
About the good old day, yeah.
Don't ruin the memory. It was usually, Guinness was something I would have, and you never thought of Guinness really being a craft beer. You just thought of it being a Guinness, right? So you had a Guinness, you had Bud, you had Coors. Went back, really through the 90s and the early 2000s, you'd see Red Dog on a lot of tap handles. You'd have Miller Genuine Draft, you'd have Miller Lite, that'd be on tap handles. You were really squeezed to see a craft beer. You might catch a Sam Adams here or there, but people weren't as aware of it as much, right? So unless you were like kind of maybe up in that Boston area, when you came like to Cincinnati, and Todd, if I'm wrong, maybe in Indiana, you wouldn't see a lot of Sam Adams tap handles when you were like back in. You would see more of just the main macro type stuff.
And I think that's probably why, like, we probably went to like the Ice House and the Red Dog because they're like 6% or 6.2 or whatever it was. Because back then, it was like 2% more. So more bang for your buck in college. Like, hey, why would I don't buy?
Yeah, because it was like I can go Red Dog or I can go get a 40 or Colt 45. Like it was like those were the ABV type options, right? And
you're
so
right, yeah.
When you had Red Dog, you're like, oh, I have an option at the bar now. I don't have to go get the 40. I can just sit here and drink this. Yeah. So I love to beat the Amber from 87 when I worked in bars. But see, you were down in that area, so you definitely had the presence for a beat it down there. Yeah, Sex on the Beach, that was popular. One of the popular drinks we used to make bartending as well. We used to make a lot of Lynchburg lemonades back in the 90s. We had another Jack Daniels drink called the Wyooter Hooter that we used to make as well. Long Island iced teas, as I mentioned, were kind of a big play for a lot of people to actually drink and get hammered. We could have the screwdrivers, occasionally in Manhattan, occasionally old fashioned. But yeah, a lot of it was cocktail driven. And then that's
Long Island iced teas.
you serve Franzia wine out of the box back then. So yeah.
Shannon like her Franzia there for a
Yeah.
while when she was on stage.
Dude, we would charge it'd be like $10 a wine glass, right? And we just go walk around the corner into our back room and it'd be like Franzia just out of a box. So like,
I guarantee it,
dude,
yes.
you could buy this whole box for $10.
Yeah, right. But we're gonna make $100 a box on this one.
First time we were in 2000, hated it. I was in Chicago, but I didn't think it was Goose Island. Yeah, it was like I said. It took a while of warming up to, IPA became something more of a thing you basically had to test over a period. You had to get used to it. You had to grow into it, and I think that's what happened as far as people starting to accept that and starting to enjoy it and everything. Dude, if you toss up a teaser about trying booze or Mad Dog before a show, I bet a whole shit of ton of people may show up, and it would be hilarious. I'm not. Well, we did the Mad Dog before. We had Shannon do a Mad Dog, but we didn't put a thing up there. She was going to be doing the Mad Dog. We did it as a malt liquor show. I may do something. I don't know. I don't even know if you can still buy Boone's, but just like I might do a short or something like that, a video like going back to check out Boone's, 30 years later if it's still the same.
I wonder if you could buy that now. I bet you probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, I sent you the picture of the Mad Dog. Mad Dog has a whole different new line now to make it look more attractive to people. That picture I sent to you.
I think that's what got her. She was like, "Oh, this doesn't look bad," and she's like, "Nope."
So much better than the glass bottle from back in the day. It was just like, yeah.
2 drinks, I'm out.
Yeah, you look at the glass bottle we bought Mad Dog back in the day. I mean, if that wasn't like Willie the Wino, I don't know what was. Like just
Willie the Wino, yeah.
Just pocket size too. Just put it right in your coat
bag.
pocket. Yeah. Oh, Wild Irish Rose. That's another one. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's like you thought brown bagging was something different. They didn't want you to know that this is what they were drinking either.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we don't want to. You don't even know.
Yeah, brown bagging wasn't like a choice; it was a requirement. Like people didn't want to know what was in that brown bag there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's why they created the flask, so you could just pour it in the flask and nobody would know.
Like we got to wait for you to hide. There you go.
Oh, Emerson's trying to get me to push into a Booze Farm type thing. He said, I find a bottle for sure. So do like a Booze family reunion show.
I'm gonna send one to you.
You want it to be interactive. Yeah, having a Booze Farm. Yeah. Oof.
That would be fun. That would be, well, I don't know, it'd be fun, but it'd be funny.
Yeah. I said Mickey's Wild's back still with Nancy's ever, so I'm sure Booze would be awful. I thought it was awful in 1970 fucking 8. Yeah. Yeah, it probably would be. I mean, you know what I would do one? I don't even know if you can buy it anymore. I think they're out of business now. Like if I came across a Bartles and James, I'd probably do like a Bartles and James, like let's go back in time, like episode. Yeah, if I could find a Bartles and James out there, I don't think they still make them. But just for the wine coolers from back in the 90s, that was one of those things like
if they do have them, you have to play the commercial of the old dude sitting on the front porch drinking their Bartles and James.
Yeah, I felt like that was just our generational type thing. I think no other generation had that experience of dealing with the wine coolers. It was just like, boomers had their hard alcohol type stuff and after Prohibition, all that kind of that, and the millennials are doing what they're doing. They got the Smirnoff ices and all that kind of stuff, but we had the wine coolers. That was our thing. We also had the first round of Zima, which
I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. It's like the Zima with the Jolly Ranchers. Yes.
It's like, why did they even do a second round? Because the first round was enough to just say no, but
yeah.
Hopefully they don't bring it back again. If they bring it back again, then Erie's going to do a video with me on doing Zima.
I was going to say Erie would be like, that'd be custody. I'd be like,
Yeah.
That shit's
Although, according to Dave from Beer in Front, you can get it in Japan, I guess. So they still sell it over there.
really okay.
Yeah. They like it. I don't know why. I don't know why they like it, but it's still in the marketplace for some reason.
Well, you know, that Zima had to come back out with it, just like Pepsi had to do the clear Pepsi again, just for some reason. Just like, we'll try the second time and see if it catches on this time. I'm like, no.
Nope. Still crap. Yeah.
Right.
They did some yeah, they did have some character with it, booze, alcohol, Kool-Aid. It pretty much is. It's just like, yeah. It's just like Dave Chappelle. It'll get you drunk. Yeah. Booze was the more, oh, I'm a college person now. Step up from Mad Dog where you're in high school. You're in high school, it's all I could get.
Yeah.
High school, all I could get was the Mad Dog. In college, it's like, well, now I'm in college, so
step my game up a little bit.
step my game up a little bit.
Like, did you though? Did you really?
I was like, yeah, it'll make you puke for sure. Yeah, you have too much of that stuff. Yeah.
Would you imagine that with some White Castles? Oh, that'd be a terrible ending.
Yeah. It's so funny. Sometimes I think about that, like, but then I'm like, I want to do that to my body, like going back and doing, I'm going to go back and revisit something I haven't had for years, Colt 45, or
there you go, yeah.
Or, some of the malt liquor I had, you can't even get anymore. But I saw like something like St. Ives or something like that and everything, which I was never a St. Ives person. That was like more in the 90s. That was after kind of our run in high school. It was like the 90s run in high school type. Had like an Ice Cube and all of them and stuff. But even though it was only a few years, it's kind of like we were more Colt 45 and Blue Bull, Red Bull. But just things I used to drink before, like would I drink again? Like, no. This is terrible.
Probably not. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Put Charles Barkley on that one. Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know. I'll have to think about that. That'll be a nostalgia type show to do something like that and everything. It would be fun to do something, just stuff you drank before, stuff you drank in college that you don't drink now. And like just to see how stuff tastes now, It's just like
that probably be a show of disasters, probably what that would
probably
be.
like,
But it would be kind of fun to see though.
It's like Everclear and Punch or something like that. And it was like, what was I thinking back then, Yeah, just God, just drinking. I just think of some of the cheap alcohol.
Thinking about it.
Papa vodka or something. It's just like, oh, that was like so lower shelf type stuff. Like that was terrible. It's just like,
yeah, it was only $5. So
yeah,
rubbing alcohol basically.
Beefeater's gin or something. It's just like, why not drink this stuff back then? Just, yeah, Still trying to find a place to put Kahlua. It's kind of like if it's not an ice cream, why would you have Kahlua? Like. This is the worst cordial ever. So, Yeah. So, all part of the living experience for sure. But
live and learn.
I have to think on that one a little bit. But I think we're going to get wrapped up tonight for the evening as we're at the 11:30 point. So, trying to still keep it a stable type thing so we can get up nice and easy on Friday and go to work and stuff. But
ease into the weekend. Yeah.
And this weekend I'll be heading up to New Jersey this weekend. So for those of you watching, I may drop a video Saturday. We'll see. BJ from BJ's channel. He actually wants me to swing by. He has some stuff out there I think with me check out at Joe Canals. So going to see what maybe out there for some beers. I might do like a beer hall video, or maybe a pop-up with him for a little bit and just share some stuff. But I'm just finally trying to get my beer down. Like I don't want to buy any more beer the rest of the year. That's my goal. Like just go through what I have enough. I have enough. I mean,
we always have enough, right? But you still.
The problem is when these breweries come up with, oh, you got to get it now because it's a limited release.
I know,
God
right?
damn,
I
limited
know, right?
release, really? Like right now, or I go someplace and it's like, well, I can't pass that deal up, type thing. So it's
Can
kind
I
of
find
like,
anybody that would take that bet on whether you buy another beer for the rest of the year or no?
I wouldn't take that bet.
I know you wouldn't, but I feel like the yes would be like -4 bazillion. Like you'd earn 1 penny if you bet $1,000. It'd be like a penny back on it. Like,
It's like the
no.
last time I went in, I told the person, like, I came in for like 2 things because the wife wanted some vodka to make a Bloody Mary, and I'm leaving with like 10 things in the cart. Like, got all of this over here and this over here. Like, I didn't need
Yeah,
all of
but
this.
when in Rome, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like it happens, but I'm trying to limit it to try to get, because I got some really good beers to bring to the channel. I got a lot of Big Bad Baptist beers. I got a lot of Eclipse Brewing. I got the Bourbon County type stuff. And I never get to them because I keep buying other beers. And it's like, oh, I got to drink this first. I got to drink this first. I got to drink that, you know.
I found myself too. I was downstairs earlier today putting some beers up that I bought. You know, some of these beers I bought, I was like, looked on top of my fridge, I was like, I really need to drink some of these. I was like, this is a lot of years gone by. I was like, I'm not sure how much longer these would be any good.
Yeah. It's like you get so many.
You're like, oh, they're good. And the next thing you know, you forget about it. And then like 6 years later, you're like, oh, maybe I should have drank that. But
yeah. It's kind of like, because I mean, that's good. That's a good thing with Untapped, because I can put them in there and I can look on there. Well, what beer do I need to drink? If it's like, I'll put them in there when I buy them. And if it has like a Best Buy date, I'll put that on there, or when I bought it type date. It's kind of give me an idea, but also the ABV. And it's kind of like, oh, I got like a wheat ale here that's like 6%. I need to drink that before too long, you know, and I'll go look
or
for it.
IPAs or something. So, you know, you just start buying IPAs and all of a sudden your barrel aged and stouts, high percentage, like just keeps shuffling back. You're like, at some point, I got to drink them. Just when can I drink them? I got so much other stuff I need to get out, you know.
I mean, the good thing is right now, I think, well, I take it back. My lowest ABV beer, which I'm going to do a review on that probably next week or so, is 6.5%, which is from Brewery Amagang. It's the Keep It Country Oatmeal Stout. So I'm going to try to do a review on that one. And then after that, they're all like 8% or higher, which is fine because those will last longer. But again, it's just like, I got the other half, the Veil that I picked up. I'm sorry, I got the Veil Brewing, which I want to do. That's a bubble wrap. That's 14.5%, but it's one of the Imperial doubles that they have. And again, it's the stuff that's sitting in there. I've got the espresso beers from Jack Abbey's, espresso Frame and Hammer. That's 12%. I've got other ones from Jack Abbey's as well as part of that series. Rusty Rail, Vanilla Wolf King, Double Nickel, Nocturnal Creatures, Imperial, Flying Fish, Fried Ice Cream. I got the Flying Dog Willet, Barrel Aged Porter. The Abyss, I got the Coconut Abyss Imperial Stout. I have not seen that before. And I'm dying to actually try that one. Because I love the Abyss series, but they put the coconut variant out. I got the Quad from Weyerbacher. I got the Insanity from Weyerbacher. I got Maple Pecan Yeti from Great Divide, along with the Big Yeti and the Peanut Butter Yeti. I've not tried those at all. It's just like, there's just so many as I scroll through here. I mean, my Untapped, it says on hand 120 items. So I got 120 beers already here, right? So, and my thing is to try to drink in moderation. So I'm only drinking like a few days a week or whatever. So I got enough to probably get through the rest of the year. But I just got to try to whittle it down. There's just so many beers that are in there.
We need to, which I have a hard time doing this too, like shuffle the new stuff that you know you can age for a while and just put that to the back and push the other ones forward so you drink those first. But maybe
that's what I've done. It's kind of like doing that and everything. And it's just like, and I've got reviews I've actually done. I've got like 8 or 9 reviews I haven't released yet that I've done already. But I gotta.
I mean, it's hard to catch up because you definitely stockpile them faster than you can drink them. At least I do. It's like
because you go to the places and you see stuff and it's like you got to get it then, right? Like
it's gotten to the point the last time I know when I've had people over, I'm like, let's share some of these because I just want to. I don't care if I have the whole thing. I just want to try some of it. I'm like, I need to drink some of it now. It's like, so I'll share with my brother, or my cousin, or whoever happens to be over at the time that'll drink them. I'm like, let's just drink some of these.
Drink and crack it open. Yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah. Guys, check out the new record. I love Ziggy Stardust by Easy All-Star. Okay. Ziggy Stardust. Rod, you going to drop 500 of beer when you mention. I'm trying not to drop a bunch when I'm in Chicago. But I do have an extra suitcase just in case because I do have 2 bags for free when I come back. I'm going to have an extra case. I think when I come to Chicago, I'm thinking that Tuesday might be, if people want to meet up, I think I might try to hit Hop Butcher just because I want to thank Jeremiah for some of the beers he sent a few years ago. I haven't got anything recently. They sent a lot of beers a few years back and stuff, and it'd be nice to try to meet him if I can. So I'm going to let him know I'm going to be in town for that. So might try to catch up with him. And I believe, JT, you're not far from Hop Butcher as well. So that might work out well. And I got people over at Lagunitas since they're reopened. I might try to step over and see some people there that I know. But I would love to get to Dovetail too, but I don't know how much I'm going to have outside the conference when I'm in the meetings. I think Tuesday night or Friday night will be the big nights if I can do anything. And see the ball, be the ball right. Little Caddyshack action. If you have too much beer, throw a party or give it to friends. I could do that. I could literally give her beer tasting to my floor here at the apartment complex and still have beer left over. This is too much beer. I did get it down to what's in the cooler and 4 box fulls now. So I was at 6 box full. Now I'm at 4 box full. And what's in the cooler? I'm trying to get the cooler more organized. I actually thought about buying another cooler at one point, but I'm like, that'd be just too much, I think, to get another one. But
all your blind neighbors will be going, what in the hell are you doing to me? What am I drinking?
Yeah. He come by. You got any more of that Bourbon County style over there?
Got some of that Bourbon County? Yeah.
I'll put stuff on Half Acre, all in the neighborhood, all worth it. Yeah, so they're like, if I did something like that, they're all right there, which would be actually awesome too as well. So, yeah, so stay tuned for that and everything. But that'll be like June 20th probably. I got to let ABC know, Afro Beer Chick as well, because I'm sure come down as well, get a chance to meet her. And then Mal and Chew are going to be there, I think. And Dave said he's in from Beer in Front. So it'd be cool to get out and to meet everybody and to see you again as well, JT. And Big Daddy, I think Big Daddy said he's down as well since he's in Chicago. So it'd be cool to get a chance to meet people and have a few beers to throw back.
No, that sounds like it'd be fun.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's fun. It's fun that, and it's cool that I'm seeing other people online. I don't know if you saw or not on some of the other YouTube channels, people getting out there. Like Dio was just with a few of the guys out of Memphis. It was Dio, and it was Frank from his channel, and Eric was there from Thomas Metal, and they all met down in Memphis like this last week or so and got a chance to get together, which was pretty cool. And some of the other guys, and it's nice that people connected. And Mal's got the thing they're setting up there in Chicago as well,
right?
At a different time to get people together. So it's fun. There you go, June 20th, marks on the calendar. My man, there you go. Yeah.
All
so
right.
So that should be a blast. And I always have a good time in Chicago as well. So it won't be as cold, which will be good.
Right.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be anyway, but
unless something weird happens.
Yeah. Right now.
Unless we get some new weather word that they create. But yeah. Burning Bush, I'm such a sinner. Yeah, the Burning Bush, we got talked about that one before. Yeah. I want to go by and suggest some names for some of their beers and let them know.
I know, right? Yeah.
Slacking a little bit, yeah. So we did a show. We came up with some better names for some of the stuff you can be using.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If you're not getting pickety, you're not trying, my friend. But that being said, we'll go ahead and get signed off here. Thanks for everybody that tuned in, and look forward to catching everybody soon. And new uploads coming again this week. I actually got a couple queued up. I just got to release them. So make sure to check out the channel there. And then what's he said? He said we could go to a lot better breweries than Burning Bush. Well, I mean, I'm good with the Hot Butcher and the Dovetail and the Half Acre all being there as well.
Right, yeah.
Have a great weekend as well, my friend. And for
TJ,
anyone
everybody have
out
a good
there,
Mother's Day.
yeah, because everybody have a good Mother's Day. And for well, we haven't really had too many women to watch tonight. Well, Matt,
Probably not, but
what you call him? Vanessa was here earlier, but yeah, so Mother's Day and all kind of stuff upcoming this weekend, and stay tuned, I guess. So that being said, we're going to get signed off, and we will look forward to catching up with you guys later.
cheers.
Everybody have a great one. Cheers, everybody.